out with the rest of the crew and to get the skills because my goal is to build everybody up from whoever comes in. So I truly believe that anybody that comes in should be getting skills to use for the real world if they choose to lead.
Well, thank you guys for caring about this as much as I do and for making it happen on the ground. Thank you.
Can you give a brief explanation of how much money we're saving by crews and with the assistance of county redoing Loxie Egan's instead of putting it out to contract? I mean, that really shows a huge savings for us.
So with the Luxie Egan's,
It's on the plan for this year. It was for last year. Oh, sorry.
it is scheduled for August 10th through the 14th. We'll be working a night shift for the week. With ILA, we're getting so we get good compaction for the asphalt. We hired a outside contractor to come in and grind the lane because they have the 7 or 8 foot lane grinder to be more efficient. And they're doing that. It's going to be around 250,000, where the contractor, when we were going to put out the bid, was about 340 is what it was originally. But asphalt prices have gone up quite a bit.
Dramatically.
And so right now there's 3 asphalt plants that we could go to, and we're weighing the round trip, the fuel cost, the toll cost for the bridge to see which one is going to be the most beneficial. My bottom line is that I'm here to save money and be under budget and do the best job that we can. So, we are doing all of the curb ramps right now and changing the radars over. So when we go in August to pave, we're just paving, and then our striping contract's going to come back and they're going to put plastic down, and that will be there for years.
So my guesstimate when I was just working it out in pencil was that we're saving almost 50% by crews doing it rather than contracting it out. So,
and we're staying under the thresholds that the state has for job specific.
Right.
And
the crews do excellent work. I mean, their concrete work is great.
Respectfully, I don't think that's germane to this particular topic.
It
And
is.
you might think it is, but it's not. What you're actually proving is that we don't need this tax because we're already saving money by in-house contracting, getting up the project.
But this is all in TBD. Well, it hasn't always, but for the past 10, raising the TBD amount, it means we can do more work in-house. We send it out to a contractor for more money.
I mean, I understand the logic behind it. I'll wait for my turn to talk whenever you decide on estimations of what we believe this to be.
more.
I work at my shop for $20 an hour.
And
That's
so those people that work in the street department, they need to be able to work. And so, I mean, it's a manual labor job.
Is there, besides L&I, is there any other benefit package offered to a seasonal employee of 6 months? What's the threshold
They get holiday pay at least.
what's the threshold for when a seasonal employee would receive benefits, or any employee for that matter?
I
9
believe
months?
they have to be,
Qualification, temporary.
Don't you get a little bit, don't you get a little bit vested?
No, the seasonal.
Okay.
The temporary, you could qualify.
What's the difference, like, why not want to have a temp, just less, it would be a less in the budget? Okay.
Rick, do you have a question?
Yes, okay, I too am concerned about $20 more on a car tab. I know it seems, maybe it doesn't seem as much to some folks in our city, but others it might be. But what I'd like to know is, on slide, production by city staff, it says 1,550 linear feet of sidewalk. Is that what we get today for the $20? Or are we gonna get 3,000 feet of sidewalk if we double it? I mean, I can't relate.
that is the work goal was 2,000. And they weren't reaching the goal because of everything that's come up. So I reduced it down to 15. So that way we could try to get to meet our goals, what we're telling you for our budget. So with this shows that at 1,500, the total cost is $136,000.
But my question is,
Per employee.
are we gonna get double that? Are we gonna get 3,000 feet of sidewalk because you're getting an extra $20? You're getting, for $20 today, you're getting 1,550 feet of sidewalk. Is that true?
That is for the 4 employees. So it would be $500,000, $600,000.
I'm just trying to,
It will
I'd
not
like
be
to
that much.
relate the actual additional production that you get for doubling the,
If we have the same amount of staff, the material costs have gone up because it's been asked for the budget, why our costs never go up. So we're trying to do more with less. Get more.
so I'm not making myself. It's just a given benefit district. Is that true?
That is,
Temp, but seasonal employees,
we only have four employees that are covered by the current $20 tab.
This is for each of these 4 improvements.
Each
rate FTE 1,800 hours.
Okay.
So,
Or that
so one thing I think I know where your confusion is. Mike was going to cut the street department's budget. Mike Riley, right? So this is going to make up most of the, well, the cut plus some, right?
Yeah,
So, because we're not talking about giving them double the money, he's talking about giving them either 300,000 extra or 400,000 extra.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, typically this brings in about 600,000 a year, and finance is proposing not to.
so yeah, I'll say it a little bit.
Oh.
You're saying a little different.
So it flips
So
a hole.
existing operations, as we said, and you've heard from council, why is the plan not changing every year? Why are we only keeping 600K? Costs are above 600K from this crews to do residential streets, every other thing. So 200K of the new money is to sustain our growth program. Additional 400 from that would be for what Ron said, seasonal labor to offset our existing crews to do more of this work that Rick's asking. They will do more of this. They're not doing cleanup. They're not doing the other stuff. So seasonal staff, it's increased materials that they're going to purchase with asphalt costs going up, but it's chip seal, it's our interlocal agreements to do all that. And we're getting a better return on our dollar because they have better contracts. But that's what this is going for. You're going to expand the program, pay for existing operations within a chunk of that money, relieve a little bit of the pressure that's on the general fund. We know we have a general fund deficit. Small in the grand scheme of $6 million pressure that we're seeing great benefit on. So,
Is that end? You know, my own concern with things that aren't really spelled out is that there's going to be a certain percentage, like overhead or whatever, that is taken out of these TBD dollars and put into the general fund.
nothing's going back to the general. All $1.2 million of TBD will stay in the street department.
Okay.
They're just gonna give them left.
The general fund right now subsidizes the street department by $1.2 million. That used to be $750,000 5 years ago. So significant increase. So no, all $1.2 million is dedicated. These are dedicated transportation dollars. 1.2
But
million.
I think in order to justify it to the public, we have to be able to tell them exactly what they're gonna get.
And that's what I think Ron was doing a minute ago until I think we got off. We were talking about increasing seasonal laborers. We're doubling that, adding 4
But what's
FTEs.
the impact gonna be? If it's not gonna be twice as many linear feet or, you know, whatever, what's the new work plan gonna look like?
So the biggest work plan change will be when we get called to go do something, we don't have to shut down a whole crew and mobilize to do something else because we'll have a different group of employees that we can take and go and do that work with rather than shutting down the sidewalk crew and then having to go back another day, delaying that work. Or if we have employees that are gone because they have kids that are sick or they get sick, vacation, we can pull from the seasonal staff to keep that work flowing and supplement that work. So right now, the way that it's working is that when things come up, whatever sidewalk paving that gets put to the side, and then the biggest priority, that whatever the emergency was, that's where we go. When the Warren Avenue Bridge has to be shut down, that is 4, 5, 6 of our staff that have to go. There's only 11. So we can't do much with 5 people because of the traffic control.
I
and
understand.
everything
It
else.
sounds
So-
like, so it'll be used to make it more efficient. The operations will be more efficient. I'm thinking of it from a taxpayer's viewpoint.
You've got a slide here. Let me just rewind. I think we've gotten, so we are already want to walk through this. If you look at this slide, additional revenue of 400K, additional sidewalk gap fill 13,
Okay.
additional ADA rents 14, additional 2 lane miles of overlay. These are your metrics.
Okay.
This is what you're going to get. Structural patch. We just talked about the quick build coming that the council asked for. We saw what that project just completed. So I know the council president really pushed it. Hey, we want to see this. These are programmed in with this ask. These are the additions.
Yeah.
These are things that we think we can do with be able to have those crews stay stabilized, focusing on the work.
Okay.
So there's
No additional sidewalks in this street division work activity.
Not within this slide. They obviously do. I know they do their sidewalk.
there's gaps.
We're adding 100 feet more
There you go.
of sidewalk gap and another 1/4 of a mile of paving unless the road needs ADA ramps, which
They all.
they all do. If they have them and they're not up to current standards, then we have to replace them when we're doing the work. There are a lot of roads that don't have the sidewalks or the ADA curb ramps that we could go and be able to like what Chance was saying, grind the road up and reballast it and repave the road, which would be a few days rather than piecing it together with patches and things like that and just making it better. Cascade Trail was a perfect example. It was a day to grind it. Stormwater came in and did their work, and then we paved it in a day.
Michael?
So it's more of a comment. My understanding, the entire time I've been here, is that basically our road infrastructure is degrading faster than we're maintaining.
Definitely.
So even though we may say we have a a balanced budget, or even a planned deficit, the streets, are basically, simply put, crumbling faster than we can get new asphalt on. And I think we have to look at this very big. Details are important, but we have to look at it very big, right? We've got a crumbling infrastructure. We're facing budget issues. This is a solution that is extra for folks, but maybe it's bearable, and it's gonna help maintain that. Things that this predated even the current minimum wage and things like that, which brought a lot of products and things like that. Probably brought our seasonal labor up and things like that. So there's a lot of forces that kind of affect where we're at, and this, I think it is a good solution to that. And yeah,
$20 used to go a lot farther when this first came to be
100%, yeah.
because
So-
back then minimum wage was at the $7 to $8 range, and
That's a good
asphalt, what are you paying for asphalt now?
We are paying $90 a ton.
Yeah, well, I
Last year
remember
we were
paying
paying
22,
74.
yeah. I mean, when this first started, I mean, asphalt was about 25% of the cost, and concrete was lower, and
The reason I was just bringing up the big picture thing is, it may not resonate with somebody who doesn't need a curb cut, that we're taking care of curb cuts. It may not resonate to somebody who doesn't ever drive on lots of Egans, that, we're doing that. And so it's about the bigger thing, and hopefully someday we're gonna get to your neighborhood before it's undrivable, or before the talk is about, or, that kind of thing.
I
And
like the
there's-
direction we're
there's-
going with this.
Yeah.
there's no grant funding available for residential streets either, where there are for arterials.
I'm gonna, I'd like to be in the second round.
Okay, so, we get funding for arterials, but there's no hope or help at all for residential streets, except for projects like CDBG and this.
We probably talked about this at my first retreat.
Yeah.
And hindsight, had we even started a few years ago, it would have been a little bit better shape.
When's the best time to plant a
I was
tree?
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
When's the best time to pave a road?
all right, you wanna go around again with more? Did you have anything you wanted to ask at this point?
I think the only thing I cannot remember is when was this enacted? Because I know it's been decades. Like, we added the $20 and then it hasn't done anything. It's just been stagnant,
Static,
sitting there
yeah.
for like.
At
since,
least
like
15.
2011, 2014, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's pre-2014.
Yeah.
I think it was around-
A couple years before I started. Did you
About
do it when
15
the island
years
stuff
ago.
happened? No, it was later than that, but,
I know that they were using the money for when they were rebuilding Lebo and Lower Wheaton Way, because at that point, they took all the TBD money and used it for capital projects instead of residential projects that we have modified it to.
That's my only thing, is that looking at it, if
Well done.
that $20 has been the exact same,
doesn't it?
I mean, for now 2 decades.
Less every year.
Yeah.
February 4th, 2009.
Okay,
Is when-
2009.
2009.
it's been a hot second.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I don't think the intention of this was ever to be just $20 and that's it for the rest of time, regardless of what our needs are, what our city looks like, anything with that. So in looking at this, it just makes sense to me, and actually timeline wise, makes sense that it was one of your first retreats you were talking about it, because I mean, having something that's just been on the books and hasn't been addressed since 2009 is really stagnant and is something that needs to be looked at to make sure that we're utilizing it properly, because
It doesn't
my
answer any of my
expectation is that when I'm on the road, that those roads will be taken care of, and this is the mechanism for doing it. The other thing is, while I understand it costs to people, I am a little bit more inclined to look at revenue sources for those that utilize. So this is something that you have car taps because you use your car hypothetically on those roads. And so it's a direct user kind of fee that's out there, and not some sweeping fees that we have, you know, in some other places. I'm not gonna name names here, but some that like, you don't utilize those services, however, you're paying for those services through different taxation. So this one at least is hitting those folks that are utilizing the service.
This is a slide to answer Councilmember Mock's
Oh.
question from earlier.
It wasn't mine.
Oh, you didn't want to know
It was
about
Jennifer's
who had,
question.
who had car tap fees?
It was Jennifer.
The socioeconomic status of the communities that have enacted.
I don't have that. I have who's passed, this is
So-
previously, this is who has car tap fees or has passed the, either a 1/10 of 1% or higher, a fee, so who has the, TBD enacted in our state,
Well, I've been at
When did you
Airway
pull this
Heights,
data?
they're 3%.
I did this earlier this year.
The percentage.
So
hit hard.
there could be some that I missed. This
That's
is
a big
all up
sales
in
tax.
RSC, so somebody, you know, passed something if they didn't have the information.
How are these particular jurisdictions chosen to be comparables?
Oh, this is everybody I could find. This is
Okay.
everything that MRC had listed, who had a car tap
Okay.
fee and what source they have used. I would want to say there's probably more, but this is what the MRC had
Sales tax
available.
commission.
And that slide was done, what, 2 years ago or?
Yeah, originally, and then I refreshed it in the
Oh,
last
okay.
presentation. This presentation, I can't remember, was it, what, a couple months ago?
So not many places, right? That's not a lot. How many jurisdictions do we have in the state of Washington?
Oh, one thing to note here, I did keep out the large ones like City of Seattle is not on here. I did remove, let me see if there's another page here. I had originally provided the council.
So these are comparables, but they're not comparables.
One second. Yes. So, let's see.
Will this go through a public hearing process?
We gonna look at the,
Aren't we the board of the transportation?
you
Benefit
go,
District?
yeah, you go. I don't know if it requires a public hearing or not. We'd have to look. Right now, this is still information only. We're not presenting we do not have an agenda bill on the table to pass the ordinance. I can get the exhaustive list. It was because I know City of Seattle has,
They have
they have
60.
multi-level of the DVD. They have the sales tax and they have the car tap fee.
And I have the information on the infraction.
Thank you. I would love that. Yeah.
Whoever knew.
Do you have a verbal?
I can say, I mean, like, there is a difference under state law on failure to do your initial registration versus an expired.
Okay.
So the penalty for failing to do the original, registration, is actually quite high. Right. It is not one that, the court can reduce. It's,
Okay.
520. Failing to renew is a standard infraction under Title 46. So the infraction is under state law, but the penalty is set by the Supreme Court every 2 years. And that's done through what's called the IRLJ, the infraction in the jurisdiction right now. It says $48 for less than 2 months overdue. If it's over 2 months, it's 93.
Okay.
An additional interesting fact is that
It's less than registration.
that state law does authorize vehicles to be impounded if a vehicle has expired registration for more than 45 days per.
That's interesting for other future conversations. Thank you for that.
I think
Which-
there's quite a few vehicles able to be impounded.
Yeah, so the expired tab is something that the court has discretion to lower, but the, not doing your annual registration
Okay.
is prescribed.
So the standard renewal set by the Supreme Court every 2 years at the state level, 48 for less than 2 months and 93 for more. Did I get that right?
That can be adjusted.
Okay, and the municipalities have an opportunity to have a say in these fines and fees? Okay,
These are all.
but the judges have discretion well.
Local discretion is exercised at the court.
At the court level, not at the legislative level, okay. And what was the proposed cuts that I don't,
No good.
so what is I was hearing there were cut, you said,
The idea is to, the subsidy from the general fund, to relieve some pressure from the general fund that subsidizes streets, about $200,000. So, the collected still full $600,000 of PBD, plus additional proposed 600 at 1.2 million. The general fund contributes $1.2 million currently into streets to make it whole, and that would relieve it.
$200,000 reduction and not cuts. That's the word I heard earlier. So I wanted to check in. So a reduction sounds more palatable, but it is a proposed cut. Okay.
Are you all set, Jennifer? Well,
I just think this needs a lot of public notice and I don't want to vote on it next week.
Well, he already said that it's not, we don't have an agenda bill for it next week.
Perfect.
Anna?
Yeah, so I thought, as you know, I totally agree that one big point of this is to find money for residential streets, because that's not something that you can get for grants. Skipsapway, even Loxie Eakins are like, you can get grants for that. The residential streets are occupied by residents,
Where
and
people
what-
live.
I know, and what residents are telling me, and at least several other councilors have agreed, is they're not concerned about street quality as much as they are concerned about speeding. They want sidewalks, they want traffic calming. And I don't see very much of either of that in this proposal. I understand that, I actually do. Like, if you make streets, to look at some of these streets has got to be like grinding in your stomach, because many of them are literally crumbling. I mean, I can see sand on the cross street down my block. But I think that it's important that we direct this money towards traffic calming, towards sidewalks, towards the things that people who live here keep telling us they want. Rather than being able to like move quickly through residential streets.
Well, I'm gonna give you a comment that, like, when you're doing all the paving on Belfair Highway so that the speed limit didn't have to be lowered, I didn't care. You could have lowered the speed limit, because that is not where most residents in Bremerton live. And I understand wanting to do paving at a certain point so that it doesn't fall apart. And I get that's why Loxie Egan is, because I was the inspector in 2002 when that got paved last. So it needs a pave job, right? But I do think that some of the paving, especially like north of 15th Street, where there's dips that are 18 inches deep, those sorts of repairs, like if you're driving around, there are major dips in the road, especially
Dip in the road.
dip in the road. I'm sorry. So things like that are things that our crews can fix a lot cheaper than waiting for a chip seal contractor to come in and do it. And I agree that there is a huge cry for more traffic calming, and I noticed the number was pretty low on what you're proposing, and I get you want to do more paving, but most of the complaints that I get is traffic calming and safe places to walk. And it might not be a formal sidewalk, maybe it is clearing the brush and putting down a concrete walkway or something, just so people aren't standing in a ditch when they're bringing their kids to school. And this is the only place to get money to do things like that.
Yes.
I do agree that some paving should take place, but it's not my top priority. I mean, the things where we have to save the road, I agree, but Denise?
I just want to remind council that we did apply for a grant through Public Works that Katie Ketterer presented on that would be like increasing our traffic calming temporary measures by several fold. I mean, it was just a nice amount of money, like $100,000 a year, you know, into traffic calming for 3 years in that federal grant. So I think sometimes when Public Works or other departments put things together, they may be concentrating on some things because they know another grant's in there or whatever.
Well, 100 grand really isn't that much.
No.
I mean, that's
It's
about
a
what,
lot more than what we have in there now.
I know, but what I'm saying is that's about, if they get 400 grand, 100 grand of that would be going towards traffic
I think
calming.
we could look at multiple sources, because I
Right.
definitely feel that
Yeah.
traffic calming is big for us.
Mhm.
But we're kind of looking into the speed camera,
Yeah.
and, once we pay for the admin on that, the excess funds could go to, traffic calming, which is, to me, is a good tie.
We don't have any say over it, y'all, when it comes
Well, we have
down
some,
to it.
yeah.
I mean, we do and we don't, right? Like when it comes
You mean
like.
what the
How they're
crews
gonna
do?
spend their money.
Yeah,
The
how they
policy.
spend them, right. We don't, at the end of the day, and that's a little bit of my concern. I mean, respectfully, I heard you say that you would skip over the tip schedule. And that bothers me because there's projects on there that have scored and need assistance and then, I don't know. So skipping over the tip does not appeal to me, to do other projects. And I guess my greater concern, which is a concern that a lot of folks who are concerned about taxation would echo with me about, is the people often feel like they are taxed, and then 10, 15, 20 years down the line, that tax is no longer going to what they thought it was going to be towards.
Mhm.
I mean, the cannabis, for instance, is a big one in the state, right? Like we thought it was going to be going for education, it's going for emergency services. I mean, different things like that. So I guess I really like the cartography, so we can see the accountability for a few years. Cartograph. Cartography, is that not a word?
It is, it means
It's
mapping.
It means
Cartograph
mapping.
is the software you're talking about.
Okay, so is cartography not the process of mapping in the
Cartograph is
program?
the name of the
We don't need to
software.
be right. Let's just move on.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you for that correction. So
welcome.
the cartography that's implemented in the cartograph is great, and I appreciate it. And so that would be something that I think the public would be interested in
Mhm.
for accountability purposes. I do not like the idea of skipping past the tip, but at the end of the day, y'all, we're not always gonna make those. There's gonna be another count in a few years, and their own priorities, and
But they don't do tip work. The crews don't.
A bigger project.
Tip, yeah, so the things that are on tip are things you're throwing.
so you would not do
grants.
any tip project with this.
Transportation is two separate things. You
Yes.
have Engineering, tip, grant,
Okay,
all of that, then you have streets, which.
there's no partnership.
There is to a degree, very minimal, but these are the guys that go out and they do the project for the city staff. Engineering uses contractors and contracts with grants. Two way different things, so the tip
Okay,
is the grant.
okay.
Do we have some more questions for tonight, or you want to wait until?
We have an agenda, Bill. I think we fleshed out some concerns for you now. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick.
I presume you've got an inventory of the condition of our street
We do
categorized by,
the PCI score,
The
which is the
28
rating.
The 2018.
so again, I'm just back to how I would explain it to a constituent. So I'm certainly for street improvements. And if, you know, like, we've got 200 miles of streets in our city that are, what, level E, level F? I don't know the numbers in.
Well, those are intersection numbers. No, these start at like 0 and go up to 100. There's, what percentage is under 50?
I think that the average score for the city is around 54, if I remember right, looking at the spreadsheet. That's over the whole city, all the city streets combined, the average score is 54. But you have to remember that back in 2008, when the recession hit and the street department was just pretty much dismantled, there was a lot of time to rebuild that, and there wasn't a lot of funding, so a lot of the maintenance that should have been happening hasn't been happening, and now the roads are at a point where you don't want to throw money at this road that needs to be that to bring this to because I don't understand what you're saying, but the scores are there's a point where the road needs to be rebuilt. There's a point for the rating on the where you can save it, put a new driving service on it, and then it extends the life of the road for 5 or 15 times. So the average score, and I remember looking
100%.
100%.
Okay, so
And we have some roads that are 100%.
Hey, Vista.
There's some that are at 70, 54, 32. There's a lot of roads that are well down. And then when they were trying to fix some of the roads that were concrete, they paved over the top of the concrete roads. And you don't pave over concrete. So those roads don't help the score to bring the average up to where it should be.
Okay, you answered the question. You don't get much time to chat to somebody about it. To me, it's a good number to say, yeah, our roads are 54% of the average score, which is mediocre at best. So,
And what I would do is have Ron give you the score for the neighborhood you live in. So you can say, you know, these roads are considered a 76, but the average is a 54 or whatever, you know, if you needed talking points.
Because
Yeah, his roads are in good shape.
the chip seal is coming apart. So
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I hear a lot about roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
The expectations are high out there.
Yeah,
So nevertheless, thank you.
yeah, that might be, or pick a road that's in better shape than yours and you can say, this section of Kitsap Way is this. So anybody have any other questions for now? We're gonna bring this back. Yes, Anna?
Yeah, just, well, the first thing is often we come to a consensus at study session and it's not reflected in the minutes. And then we come back and like, we had that confusion about what was our consensus about what was gonna happen next with tip scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we do, I'd like it to be, whatever consensus we come to, I'd like to be entered in minutes. Then the other thing is, I know you and I would both like there to be more emphasis on traffic calming and
It's an avenue to do a project that's not on the tip, like for instance.
No, different, really different thoughts on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't get Snyder either.
yeah.
well, we gotta keep trying then.
However, it's not. And yeah, sorry to be.
So I think the only consensus we could get to today is that we want to keep talking about it and have another study session maybe in August.
I think that question that Michael had earlier, though, you're gonna call Katie and
Yes.
find out,
I'm gonna call Katie.
because if
Yeah.
they swoop, we're out of luck.
Yeah,
They do it for the whole
Also
county.
paying it,
and getting nothing.
Right.
Right.
traffic.
So, yeah, they got nice roads there.
Well, if this county is getting their jurisdiction as well, we have a right to some of that money, to a part of that money.
I don't know how it works.
Well, yeah, it would be,
I
we
know
would
that
not have
they can
control.
Yeah.
That would be good to,
We will not get those dollars. They get, if they take our portion, they enact to take our residents, there's no payback to the city of Bremerton for this. They will collect
There's
that.
no opportunity to collect dollars. Really? None.
Nope, they get the authority to collect the money. And how
Right, they get to
keep it.
collect it, but can we apply it? Will they share it? Share it?
They only do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did talk about that last year.
counterintuitive, isn't it?
Did we- Yeah,
Agenda bill in first session in August.
See what it would look like if we were voting.
yes.
Kylie, to figure out what that looks like with the public hearing, there's no, and then, okay,
All right.
I'll be but they got it, they can handle it.
I won't be here.
I will be out
Johnson.
until.
I was gonna say,
There's
be that fast or in the background.
Hmm?
So it'll be August 12th. You're all gone.
I'm back on, I'm back on the. I am.
You're on the 12th. Kylie, are you here?
Yep, we're back.
Okay. All right. So can we get it? Okay. All right. Study session on August 12th.
Sounds good. This was a good,
And it's been requested because of the that we take over.
and come back.
Yeah.
Hi.
What?
What's the
Real
time?
high.
We're gonna come back.
6:20.
We're good.
Oh, did we change the time? I thought-
The July 8th study session is back in. Next, I would like to welcome Contracts Administrator Melinda Monroe here to present item A3, an ordinance amending Bremerton Municipal Code Chapter 10.42 entitled Automated Traffic Safety Cameras. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, council. So tonight I am here to present a update to our chapter 10.42 of our code. Primarily, this update is aligning our current code with RCW updates that have occurred the last 2 years. The main updates include an alignment with all possible speed zones that are available under this code. A setting of the school speed zone rates, which we've never had, and a fund allocation aligned with RCW, but also with our current allocation of using the transportation capital fund. So those are the three actions that are really occurring under this. And the school speed zones up in section 3. Make sure I should call it right. Just section 3, and the fund allocation, very succinct in section 4.
Thank you. Which committee heard this?
Actually,
Oh, it was-
this was finance.
Finance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Do anybody from finance want to lead the conversation on this? Or do you have questions?
Here. Michael's very excited about it. Can I?
Sorry.
Take this one?
Good.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take this one. So yes, we did discuss this particular issue. We did have kind of a robust conversation about it actually on that day. I don't think you were there. I think it was just Rick and I, yeah. So, in this, we did have a lot of questions at the time, but I think that they've all kind of, Melinda was able to solve a lot of those. And then we also had questions about because it's talking about the monetary aspects of it with, and also in this, if we state a number, should we put the number in actual numerical terms after it? I was looking at that in C where it talks about a penalty of $150. It's written out wrong. And I don't know if we're supposed to put, for everybody.
Yeah, I can check with our
Okay,
legal,
yeah, just
our
the
legal.
standards.
Yeah, I think we did copy this from another, some other.
So yeah, we were just curious on, is this anything different? So if there was a human police officer that you had been caught speeding and, you were given an infraction in this or a ticket, is this the same as if it was a camera? And we were able to confirm that it is, it's all the same. It doesn't matter the mechanism for somebody, whether it's a human finding speeding or a camera finding speeding, it is the same. And then we also had a little bit more conversation about where this goes to, so the revenue and excess and the costs associated with it and some of that, what was decided that this was kind of the first part of it, is part 1 of the implementation, and then those kinds of questions and answers would be kind of part 2 when we're actually implementing and not just coming up with the process.
I'm
Questions?
sorry, I don't think that was enough of a description of, just kidding. That was really robust and thorough.
Thing I wanted to add was that there was some feedback from the court.
That's what I wanted to ask about.
It will increase the workload on the judge and the municipal court. He indicated that many of the red light cameras stopping, those are often contested. When people go through the red light cameras, and so given the proposed number of infractions that this will lead to, that could increase the workload for the court. So he wanted us to make sure we understood that.
Mike can follow up.
Yeah, so 2 parts to this. First is the code change allows AOC to work, get up to date with our. That next piece is critical. How will the impact to our labor staff? That will be what will be coming at the next phase to council, knowing what the pro forma would look like, what the cost, what associated fees might go with it, what we think the, generation of tickets would cost. We've done a lot of that work. That's not here. That will come before council when that is there. It's not always vetted yet. Someone works in a focus group with the judge, with the engineering department, with legal, and all that's coming forthcoming. This is just the code change, that needs to be on the books so we can even, so we can be, current with it.
So none of the revenue goes to the courts, as it all goes to the Transportation Capital Project Fund.
Actually, so.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah, no. Okay.
No, you're fine. I was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got a little thing about where it goes to that when there's excess of direct
Dedicated
costs
revenue
associated with the
in excess
processing,
of.
operations and maintenance. So that would fall underneath that category.
In excess of, so the courts would be able to bill out their FTEs or their workload.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of nicely trying to get at is we were talking about just this municipal code, the implementation and the problems that come with that are coming at a later time. To which the courts did have those questions.
Does the judge still have the ability to reduce? And do they have
He can dismiss the veto, associated.
or leeway to dismiss or I'm sorry, what?
Can reduce.
Y'all aren't gonna hear me argue about this one, okay? Because it's schools, big stating, because there are babies out there walking. So I'm not gonna argue about the funding for this.
I am. Because role reversal.
Well, because you speed through school zone and.
No, I definitely think we should have that, but when we started with red light cameras, the police department got a lot of the excess funds, right? And then it got moved over to transportation, capital projects
2021, yeah.
in 2021. But in these processing fees, we're paying the police to do their portion of the processing?
It will be the same, that is something that, will be required. And that's for camera 11, on. So those first 10 cameras, it's considered our legacy program.
Mhm.
We just have the freedom to allocate as we want.
Right.
The excess
Yeah, I think
component
they're-
of the revenue piece,
Mhm.
their time is factored in. So the
Yeah.
contract itself, I'm gonna make up a number. We'll get real close, $432,000 a year for the current camera.
Mhm.
So it's a revenue neutral contract, so we pay whatever we bring in up to that point. So at that point, then we have excess revenue. But the 432 is the contract, then we have internal costs that are associated. So that revenue move doesn't happen until we get past the court cost, police cost on top of the 432, then that money will go to transportation. So it
Right.
covers the police costs, the court costs before there's any transfer of funds to transportation capital.
And
we-
the transportation capital is for big projects only.
Yeah, they've used it currently for like chip seal and the fund balance, but like match money.
Oh, so some of it
Yeah,
is
you-
for
yeah,
actual real maintenance.
Yes, real maintenance work out of kind of account. Yes, correct.
Okay. And the police are okay with this? Just being paid and not getting the
No, yeah, I
excess
think
like
they
they
will.
used to get?
I think that, the discussion on public safety and the original thought of the cameras, I think if you were to ask them, they'd like to see the money stay in the general fund where it was originally. This was a decision in 2021 to move to TransCap to find transportation funding. But again, they also understand the need that's out there. And just so you know, Melinda will present this at a later date. I think she went PSP, the new cameras that get, if and when those get adopted, those funds, they have to be used in excess, have to be used on traffic improvement, traffic safety projects. They no longer can go to the general fund. Those are going to be for traffic safety projects that there's studies that have to be done on where those projects can be done. So
Okay,
that's getting ahead, but
right. At a future session.
Yeah.
Michael?
Well, as I said, this is a little housekeeping mostly just to give us the option to move forward with an additional red light or cameras.
Exactly, and really just to align with the current RCW as well. So,
So we're not really doing anything with
Yeah.
this, but it's gonna open up the option.
Yeah.
To do something.
Michael, Denise, oh, I'm sorry, back to you, Jim.
Oh, it's okay because I have.
You did that whole formal, hold it, put your hand up there, go ahead. Or if Jim wants.
Oh, whatever. I raised my hand.
So
but
you
no one
already-
wants to talk.
You already talked, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You have.
I'm
So,
good.
yeah.
Michael, Denise, in public safety last year, Chief Wolf talked directly about these speed zone cameras, and it's my recollection that he said that, they might not need a full-on police officer to review the tapes.
We talked about it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't changed that, but basically the idea would be to, again, a cost savings, would be a civilian could be trained to review the video of the red light. And there's also like, it sounds like there's even like settings that how things can be triggered, whether we're talking about the speed and stuff, you could have to make it have to be a little more egregious and
Mhm.
so people start to learn, and then you can kind of bring it into wherever we set it happens.
Start up like 30-day warning only or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but bringing in a holding person might make more sense if we have a bigger set of 9, right?
That sounds great. One of the other things that has happened over the past years, or I think it was last year on public safety, and again, I'm turning to you guys' recollection, where Chief Wolf was saying that red light revenue was down because Public Works had instituted really long yellows.
Cool.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That's why you haven't gotten a
Okay with
ticket
that.
lately.
So it's just,
I don't know. You're not proposing to shorten the yellow to raise revenue, are you? Because I feel like lengthening the yellow is a safety measure.
Um,
I'm
Yes and
saying that
no.
Chief Wolf said that A was the cause of
Some
the.
stands are common, but
Chief
I-
Wolf
those
said that
it's on
because the
camera.
yellow was lengthened, red light camera revenue was. down.
Correlation does not equal causation.
He seemed to think it was causation,
I
but
know.
you're right.
I know.
Yeah.
I do remember
One
him.
Piece of information, I would say also, and this was interesting, the other thing that's happening started in round 3. We started seeing the cameras, and we have, documented there was vandalism that was occurring, and then also just malfunctions. The system was old, so we had these giant cameras that would flash, I think everybody knew that, and so those are gone.
Yeah.
So that contributed as well. There was definitely there were some changes at the vendor. The vendor was going through changes. There were a lot of changes so happening in a variety of places. Not to say that wasn't a change as well, but I'm just saying there were a lot of changes occurring. So we have seen that revenue kind of, I don't know if this is a good thing, but we have seen that go back up. And so we really think that's probably, if you look like at the long history, and you can see that on our website, you can see the reporting and the violation numbers kind of ebbs and flows. And, we've talked about why that might be happening. And we think that we actually did a zip code study. And I'm getting a little off topic here, but a zip code study did show that the violations that we have on our current system are only being issued to 25% of the total citations, for only 25% of them were actually citizen of Bremerton residents. So we're just seeing a lot of people traveling through. That's what we're seeing.
Violating. A lot of violators.
Traveling through.
Most of the
Let's
violators.
let's get our tourists some money right out of their wallet.
Commuters
I wouldn't call them tourists.
What if that revenue will increase
are
because of
violators.
FIFA? We never talked about that potential.
Mm.
The World Cup brought us more violations. I
That's a
bet.
handy quote
Well,
when we're talking about the Navy, right?
Yeah, 25% of the violations issued were citizens.
Wow.
So it
One
just
went to my car, but luckily it was Knox's violation.
Yeah. And
That's interesting.
so that's
Thanks.
just information. We have a lot of information.
Yeah.
And because we've been asking all these questions, why? And That did, update, that got us through phase one. We updated the system, and, I do think that has been good. I'll talk about that a little more in the future, but the other part of that is, we really need to update, just to the code. I mean, that's what initially when we rolled out the program, we updated the code to the full extent of the law allowed. And so that's essentially what we're doing here. With the one, except for with the 2 items of setting the speed, school zone rates, those have never been set. And so if we want to implement school zones, we need to have those set. And then we're keeping the legacy camera allocation at the transportation capital project fund in this room. So those are the 2 main things.
So the speed limits are only for schools, not for parks?
So parks are actually set by RCW, and they are just capped at that 145. So they're just set, actually, RCW.
Not the fines, the speed limit.
Oh, excuse me. So the speed limits are set by city staff. So in a park zone, I believe that there's probably a standard for what that would be, but they are generally in our park zone, the rest of the city speed, which is 25. So in parks, yeah.
I'd be curious as we're talking about, I would be curious as to a cost breakdown to find out what our revenue actually is off of an infraction. It doesn't have to be like a projection of revenue, because we can't really project how many infractions, but whoa, something happened on my screen. But just per infraction, what are we looking at for?
And that's what we're talking about. There'll be a performance that will show you what we believe that will
Right.
be when that comes.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just, again, a code change that allows for the mechanism
Okay.
to be in place. Once there's no, this will come back to council before any cameras installed or re-implemented.
And when's the last time the OFM adjusted the inflation? You don't know. It's okay. They're like, because it could come back to us again in a couple of years if OFM, it's the 5-year cycle. All right. Anyway, thank you.
Kylie?
There was a question about $1.
Oh, sure.
It's just, I don't know, practice. It's the same reason you teach expert enough that way as a drafting convention. A lot of the RCW is written that way, it's an inspection of code. But, probably not much of an issue anymore now that people, officers and whatnot, and everything's recorded, but the idea was back in the day that someone could add a 0 and it would frustrate intent, if it was just. That's the difference. That's why it's written.
Anybody have any additional questions, comments?
I got a question about, section 3C. It says the penalties for a school speed zone, so all of this, the infractions only apply to schools?
Right.
So everywhere else, school was deleted, but here it's retained?
Look at that more carefully, but let me see,
School
let me
is-
go back to.
Well, it's probably because it's specific, because there's a
That's
specific
what I'm asking.
school in a speed zone.
School speed zone, yes, that is exactly right, Hannah, yes.
Okay, so it's just for school speed zone. So traffic infractions for other speed zones,
Or else.
they're elsewhere. Okay, fun is kind. And then I personally, and I know you guys won't agree with this, but I feel like the fines for like going over 11 miles over the speed limit should be double. And then like going, what is it on 3C? It's like, if you're going 16 miles about or more above the posted, it's a base penalty of 290. I feel it should just be like lots of money.
$1 million.
It's a visual.
And these cameras, they don't collect biometric data. It's the same policy as the red light cameras. And so it's just based off of the car, the license plate.
Yeah.
Or it's the same, it's going to be, I mean, we don't have anything in infrastructure in place now, but theoretically it would be the same process for appealing as it would be for the red light cameras. There's not that, right? There's not a lot different
Yeah,
in that process. We're just adding workload to the courts and they are getting paid for it out of the revenue. Okay.
Yeah.
In this theoretical landscape
But
of this code.
This document
This
is
isn't-
not adding any work.
Yes.
This is creating an option for us to add a camera.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm not reading this as we're approving a contract for cameras.
Well, if it was clear, I wouldn't have said it.
Well,
I think.
Are there any
Oh,
other,
children.
are there any other comments or questions on this
I
issue?
think we should put this on consent.
I think so too. Anybody else?
I can send it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melinda.
Safely.
Uh,
Get back.
I just,
You just want?
we are only
I
like,
think it was
and
groaning.
yeah,
we aren't even 2 hours in.
I know.
Oh, this is gonna be a rough night.
Okay. I, as the 2026 LTAC Chair, will present item A4. For
Better
those
you
of you
than
who were on council last year, you may remember that we passed a resolution anticipating further discussion around establishing and funding a destination marketing organization for the fiscal 2027 funding year. Since we have 2 new council members, and because the tourism branding project was not funded last year, I thought it'd be helpful to bring this back before the full council before LTAC meets next week. So my goal tonight is to make sure everybody has the same background, revisit the intent of the prior resolution, and confirm whether council is still interested in moving in this direction. This will help guide the upcoming LTAC discussion and ensure we are working from current council direction rather than assuming last year's conversation still fully reflects the council's position. See, this is a brand new thing that you guys actually can make a decision on.
Presenters that done there.
Yeah, well, not this presenter. The updated application is in the packet, so you can see how we incorporated the opportunity to provide proposals on destination marketing and sports tourism. So did everybody have a chance to look at the new application?
I scanned it a little bit,
Okay.
scanned it.
Is it really that much different? than what we
I was
previously
really
seen?
happy to see it posted on the LTAC webpage. Because 2 weeks ago, there was, the only thing that you could do was email city.council.
They have been, Anne has been doing a lot of updates with Kelsey to our website and redoing a lot of the forms and data collection for LTAC. So hopefully it goes nice and smooth.
Wait. Okay,
You know, I'm not saying that it wasn't smooth before, Jennifer.
It's never been smooth.
no, I'm not.
We're not taking anything.
Wait a minute, what are you saying about me personally? Just because I know you're not. I know you're not. No, my experience with it was that it was not smooth.
Right.
And so any criticisms that were made about it, yeah,
All right.
I own.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm hoping with the new direction that we can kind of make the process clearer. We put together a schedule of all the meetings that are gonna take place. And we're gonna present it to all the LTAC committee members next week so that there's no figuring out who can show up when. It's like, this is the time of the meeting in September, so please put it on your calendar. Because I think that was a lot of unneeded effort.
And just so the resolution is the second page right after the agenda bill, and that's what we
Mhm.
voted on.
So here's my question,
Uh-huh.
one of them anyway. Are we still committed to the destination, marketing or management organization? And if so, how do we make sure that LTAC funds it?
Well, the definition of LTAC.
Because we made it a priority last year and they didn't fund it.
Yeah, the definition of LTAC that's presented in this is that the two community members need to be members of organizations that are available to receive funds. It doesn't say, at least in this, that they must be receiving funds.
Mhm.
In fact, on Bainbridge
That's
Island,
nothing
you have to.
about what I
you have
asked
to come
about.
out.
I think that changing the composition of LTAC would affect the decision.
It's a
When
state, it's a
Oh.
state mandated composition. but
So,
Can I just finish my sentence? What Bainbridge does is the two people who are from organizations that are eligible to receive cannot submit for the 2 years that the person
Okay,
serves.
as they say.
So, so it's a big thing for them to like
Yeah.
sort of step down, or it's maybe a bigger organization, somebody who doesn't normally do it, but they're.
that would be a nice change.
Yes,
This-
I
I
agree.
think this would be a useful change.
Yeah, yeah.
I also, and I want to just kind of talk about how can we ensure, when I was leading LTAC, they just kept saying, well, that's not going into place until 2027. That's not for this year. And y'all were saying that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And so we have a resolution. Is it legally binding that they can only choose based on this resolution?
Kylie?
I'm sorry, I was talking to Mike about the previous question. I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Our resolution that we have in place proceeds beginning in 2027. Is that legally binding against LTAC recommendations? Do they have to make their guidance in accordance with our resolution? Can we can we make requirements of our members for our LTAC committee? For instance, what Michael was saying, which was that the committee members who are voting have to recuse themselves from applying for funding.
Well, they can't serve on the committee if they're going to be an applicant.
But
right?
they have been.
Yeah,
They have
No.
been.
Right along.
They have to.
But
The
we don't,
entire
but we
time.
can
Okay,
prohibit
hold on,
that.
let's listen to Kylie.
So, the statute, the state law statute that talks about the composition of the committee, everyone knows that it seems odd because it's someone who's on there. But this other reading of that, and I don't know how Bainbridge does it, but a lot of other people do it the way we do it too. That the interpretation is given that it's not just that you're an agency that could maybe possibly submit an application that may qualify for LTAC funds, that you're only eligible if you have applied. And the term of the person who's eligible for funds means that you've submitted an application that year.
Okay, then I don't know how Bainbridge does it.
I don't
That
think
year or in the past?
that year, I mean, what I'm saying is like, depends what the application is, right? And whether or not that person's eligible. I mean, some of the stuff that they, just because you have an organization, let's say like the Roxy, maybe you submit an application, but it isn't eligible because it isn't actually bringing in tourism dollars, right? And so just the fact that you're an organization that could potentially maybe sometime submit one doesn't necessarily mean that you're eligible to get one.
So I think-
Bainbridge does it differently. That's one way we could do it.
I think the question specifically was, do they have to be applying that year?
That's how we've been interpreting.
Okay, that's how we are legally interpreting it.
It's a 3-year term. So what if they apply the year they're first on,
Well,
And what about
this is the least of the problems.
Yeah.
Right.
is it?
Well, no, the way we're talking
I'm
about
just saying, it's not.
we're talking about it saying that we have to create conflict of interest, which
Yes.
surprises me that the interpretation.
Could you talk to people at Bainbridge and find out how they do it?
Or maybe
How
Kylie
they
could
do
talk
it.
to
It may
It's
be
how-
wrong.
Yeah, they may be wrong. If the council wants to.
Might be
have
doing
that
things
same
wrong.
role, I mean, we can revisit it. I'm just telling you, that's how it's been interpreted previously. And I will say that other cities have looked at this, they've, like MRSC has weighed in on this about the apparent conflict of interest, and it is built into the statute. It is known, or it is not considered.
So when do people's terms expire, Anne? Do you have that readily?
The two that have been on are on your next year. And then Jeff, that we just point, it will be on through 20. And we have one entity.
Jeff Coughlin?
No,
No.
Who are the two from agencies or organizations?
Jennifer from the historic ships and Mike from.
And Mike Huey from the
Yeah, Admiral.
Science Fair.
yeah, he's for both. He's on the board of the Admiral too.
Oh my, he has a double.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, you know, the council, how can we effectively communicate the high level of priority with the destination marketing organization? I mean, can we just say this is the council's top priority for this year? And make it really simple, along with anything else that we come up with?
I think what we can do is, we have the ability to change the criteria more than anything of eligibility.
Mhm.
Right? So we change the criteria of eligibility. That's where our power lies.
When this was presented last year, did anybody from a successful direct market like DMO come and talk to LTAC and say,
Yeah.
here's how we used to do it, here's how we do it now, here's how things have
I
I
mean-
got the impression they think they're experts already at direct marketing.
There's several direct marketing
Mhm.
organizations in our county.
But some of, and not just,
Destination marketing.
Destination.
and
sorry.
not
Yeah,
just
right.
that, some of the people applying for funds think that they
Photography,
can
right.
market their project or whatever better than anybody else
Well,
can.
in the case of the Turner Joy Historic Ships, Jennifer Zuber, they're right. They were doing marketing a lot better than a lot of other people were doing for a long time. They had it down, man. But they're not a destination marketing organization. You know what I mean? You can know how to do a little bit of it. It's like putting on an event. You can know how to do it, but it's a science. And so I want to set us up for success. I want to set everybody up for success this year.
Well, here's a question. Oh, Michael, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is anybody interested in, instead of having a direct marketing, that we direct all the funding to develop a youth sports complex at Pendergast or something else to draw in tourism for the whole city? Is that an interest of anybody?
That goes against everything that report said. I mean, not everything, but I mean, to basically what we'd be saying is we're going to ignore the input of this professional analysis and report, and we're just gonna keep on doing things the way we've been doing them. That would be very frustrating for me
Plus,
to go back.
I'm at Pendergast almost every morning.
Mhm.
It just doesn't, it's not big enough to absorb all that. But I think Denise's point is really valid, is like, people who do this for a living gave us the benefit of their like long, many page long advice.
Otherwise, it's just gonna be what we've been doing before and arguing every year over what's really bringing
So
in tourists.
how can we get those votes? I have one vote. One. And I don't know, we can't twist arms to say, hey, you're gonna do this. This is council's main priority. I mean, we can say that, but they can choose to recommend something else and vote on totally different recommendations unless we've got an airtight ordinance
Who may
instead of.
apply?
Can I ask how you
There-
guys
Thank you.
did your,
So this is.
how do you get your community consensus?
Okay, Carver.
Like,
Hang on. Yeah.
I don't know, it's my first
This
time.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Cause I
That's
was,
right.
I don't remember Sal when I did it, like I did like a spreadsheet.
Yeah, we had
I just did live.
spreadsheets and
You
everything.
gave me your numbers and I averaged them out and I'm like, all right, we're close here, folks.
Thank you so much.
Would you give up $500 to this one? to,
Right, but
you
that
know,
tends to work, that what happened last year was that they were so against this
Right.
They
DMO
have a chip on their
that they
shoulder.
ignored it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because it was
and
FIFA.
then divvied up the money the way you're talking about, which is great. I don't have a fault with that at all.
So what I wanted to kind of ask, and this might be a Kylie question, is like, what are we able to even have the first meeting where all they do is look at the DMOs and fund the DMO? And on a dollar amount that we've already pre-carved for that session. And then the rest, the remaining could be for all the, I don't know if that's
Events.
An allocation model.
a possibility to do something like that. Or maybe we have to set them, you know, maybe we have a meeting with them and say, and then have them agree to that or something like that. But one of the issues I have is that this application's already out.
It's already out. We can't change the criteria of
I don't know
eligibility
if
this
it's been
year.
announced or if it's just on our
It's on
website.
Okay,
It's not.
so
Okay, because the application might be a
52.
tool.
But the application is not live.
Because one of the problems we've had historically is organizations have been applying to do DMO work
Right,
under their whatever.
right.
And so, and because that's one of the boxes on here, like, I think it should, maybe it needs to be, are you applying for the DMO project? Or are
Right.
you applying for general or youth tourism? Like,
Right.
maybe you have to self-identify and you don't get to just check all the boxes and say, I
Check one.
It's very.
I see what you're
detailed
saying.
in the new application.
Okay,
As to what they're applying for, what the criteria.
Okay,
is,
page
what we would
52.
expect.
but I can select more than one box, right?
It says,
No, per.
Check only
you have
one
to go to
category.
another application.
We just say that.
Rigor, check only one category. Where do you fall?
Oh, okay. Good.
so can we do that? Can we earmark ahead of time?
Maybe I tried.
Kylie, can we do that?
Make notes of your question.
And then if I can, well, she's looking that up. So now, a few years ago, kind of, I guess, pre-COVID and stuff, we had decided, and I'm just gonna make this up, it was something like this, that we wanted to take out of the entire pool, we wanted to make sure at least 10% went to something new.
You
Like,
brought that up.
Let's develop
Yeah.
something new.
Yeah.
And then we also said that there was something about, was it more than 25%? But we also wanted to make sure that, like, the funding wasn't more, maybe the 25 was, we wanted to make sure the funding wasn't more than 25% of the project or of the agency's budget. Like, we shouldn't be the main funder.
Because they need to
So-
be sustainable
yeah, so
funding. So
there's-
we've exited certain programs.
Yeah, so.
We
the-
did put that in the criteria.
But, and
Oh,
then
good.
the thing that I would like to also see is, I'd like to see the lodging tax as like a launch pad or an incubator for new
Mhm.
things to develop. But I would like, you know, folks that have been around for 50 years or something, maybe wean themselves off some lodging tax or there's a max or something. And then, you know, 'cause they get savvy and they know how to apply and then they know how to get the people where they need to get the people and all that kind of stuff. And we want to make sure that we want some new stuff in town too.
I'm wondering
Like
though,
deja vu.
by the
Deja vu.
time, my perspective is just a little bit different in that I see the smaller, newer events needing to prove their worth to the community. Get some Rotary money, get some Lions money, get some, you know, corporate business sponsorships. And then lodging tax is actually invested in things that we know
Bring in
are working.
the heads of beds.
You know, we've been doling out such small amounts to so many organizations over the years. I'd like a complete paradigm shift on that one. You know, we just aren't getting any impact from it. So, I mean, it sounds to me like you're asking it says the intent, we either need to change it or stay with those priorities of the DMO and Pendergast. So if we want to,
I'm not tied to Pendergast. I just
Right.
wanted to see if people wanted to like just pick one thing and
oh,
put
I'm
all the
picking
money
the
to that.
DMO.
But we're not gonna give the DMO all the money. are
No,
we?
but a good portion of it.
And Kylie's looking up if we can do a funding model
No,
or,
I'm just gonna make some notes and lots of.
okay.
there's.
But it's going out, when is the?
We're having a
application
meeting
going out?
next week.
Okay, this needs to say draft. Maybe the application can say draft. Is that okay?
Lots of municipalities do this very differently. And
Yeah.
some of them don't do this type.
Right.
They don't fund like, $5,000 to this, $2,000 to that. things like
Right.
that.
We need to follow that,
So
Weston, Maine. Yeah,
we can, but I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to move gently in that direction.
We are.
And sometimes maybe there's a bad situation, but so.
I mean, we have people who say we are their only funding source, and it's like, really?
It
really?
shouldn't be your only funding source.
I haven't had,
Collective visions.
they have to have other funding
They
sources.
said that,
They generate revenue other ways, don't
Well, the
they?
gallery, but probably for
but their event,
they're big.
they don't apply for other grants for that event they have.
Oh,
What go?
Collective visions.
okay.
So it sounds like what we're kind of sticking with the same priorities.
I'm okay with priorities.
Yeah.
I wanna know, so if that's what we're trying to do, how can we do it?
Ensure
And I'm not
it.
trying to
We're not trying to cheat the system.
Force
Right.
them, right?
but like
right.
within whatever we can find, are
Right.
there ways for us to partition this, segment this? What can the directions, the instructions be to the committee,
Yeah,
the guidance?
yeah.
And I think to the public as well. So focus it in on the public, because we do need to have all of the destination marketing organizations to come to the table and compete against each other. Because when that happens, then we're able to ask those critical questions. How are you getting your data?
And I feel
Are
like
you using the same data for the same metrics? How do you have 5,000 hotel stays when we don't, anyway?
And I feel like they shouldn't do that, and then the next person is like divisions, and then another DMO.
Right.
Like, I feel like the DMOs need to be
Separate.
separate. and
Yep.
divided.
Absolutely.
And maybe
Yeah.
we even determine, we're looking for a DMO, the budget is X amount of dollars.
That's what I
You
think.
don't write us one for a crazy amount, you tell us what you can do.
What you can do for the
$300,000 or whatever that number is.
And what if they pick a DMO that we don't like? I mean,
Well,
we just have to roll with it.
We trust the process on
I
it.
guess so.
I don't
That's
trust
the
the
public.
process. Anna?
Thanks. So it seems to me that, I like the idea of the first committee meeting being like focused on DMOs. And I also think that, as many counselors as possible should be there. Obviously not me, I've had nothing to do with LTAC. But to explain to them how, like, we are looking at a whole picture of a city. And we know about wayfinding, we know about, regulations on Airbnbs and Verbo and all that jazz. We know about things that are outside their sphere, and we council are better able to weave them together. And that this direct marketing organization would be able to look at the big picture and would create a climate of tourism, a climate in which information could be exchanged consistent with, and I think it's a small recommendation, but it's like, you walk into the ferry and there's nothing. It's like,
Well, but we have new FIFA signs now.
And stars.
And order.
anyhow, I'm almost done. So I think that if we focus on that first meeting and just really talk about how a climate of tourism builds, more.
Rises all shit.
Well, that's what Michael's
Well, I
talked
can't say that with
about.
a straight face.
And as he represents a potential applicant, right? And so I've always thought, God, it's too bad we can't have him involved in some discussions when he has to recuse himself, because he does bring a lot of expertise, but he got it. It's like, yeah, the Roxy or whoever might not get as much this year, but in a few years with this DMO, we're going to be reaping the benefits. And
Everybody downtown will do better.
yes,
And not just
and not just downtown, right? Yeah, but it's that shift in how they look at it. Instead of being fear-based, oh, they're taking some of my $5,000, It's an investment and a lot more.
I don't know. I mean, at the most, we could have 3 council members, and I don't know if there's 2 more available at the time next week's meeting is up. Do you
When
guys-
is it?
I don't know. And do you
Day of the
have,
week?
Not everyone is concerned.
While this is happening, Christie's had her hand up several times.
Oh,
Thursday at 12:30.
Thursday at 12:30?
Thursday the 16th.
So with this being the new kid on the block and never have seen these meetings and all of this, I knew this was coming. So I've been trying to figure out, 1, wrap my mind around what it is, and 2, wrap my mind around what I would do, like if I got to do anything. But looking at it, some of the things that I had stand out to me is how the allocation process occurs and the percentage of what the ask is versus what somebody receives. That seems to be a little bit all over the place. And then additionally, looking at this, like the tourism impact and visitor attraction as far as points is, that's the most points you can get. And so I went through past years of people who had put in for LTAC and looked at their 990s. So I was pulling their 990s that were public and trying to see what, their claims were, the things that were on the applications. But some of them that was kind of fun was, and I'm not naming names here, but some of them were saying that the number of visitors that they have is kind of wild. So then I was looking at the amount of time that they're actually open. So like, we have X amount of visitors. Okay, you're actually open between this and this, so you have so many hours per day. And one of them has an average of 51 people per hour. So I went outside their business for an hour, and I sat there with one of his little bus tickets, have it for swim, and they did not get 51 people. And no, there was not 51 people that walked in the door. So then I was like, maybe it's the cruise ship. So then I saw the cruise ship comes in on Friday. I didn't have much.
Went down with your
I
clicker.
threw in a leaf slip and I went down and I sat on a bench that was a very nice bench down there on the boardwalk and waited for people to get off of one boat to potentially get on another boat.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Did not see the same numbers that matched the 990 nor their applications. And so that's where I'm like, that's a problem.
We've been saying this the whole
There needs
time.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you are going to have an attestation that is saying that my business is doing this and here's the numbers to prove it, it becomes a problem when you start looking at those numbers and you're like, that's not passing the sniff test on this. So then I went deeper and was trying to come up with an allocation model, exactly what you're talking about, an Excel document that says this is the pot of money that we have to work with, that you could just kind of put in what it is. And then categories of information that we would input that would be a level playing field for folks. Again, it's attestation things, but backed up by your 990s. And kind of seeing how that allocation would play out. And it plays out significantly different than the numbers that were aligned in all of this. So yeah, these are your percentages.
I think the idea too is that the DMO would act as kind of the mentor for a lot of our organizations and events. We all think we know what we're doing. And if you've been running the same event for a long time, you really think you know what you're doing. But it's amazing what, one company can come in and just have people looking at it a little bit
And
differently.
it's subjective priorities because based on how much your ask is versus how much you're getting, it's very, very subjective in this. And it does appear from I don't even know these folks. I've never met them, so it's great.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's a little bit of a club, that it's the same folks getting the same money with the same percentages and the same lion's share.
Yeah.
And if we're not seeing big changes here in the city, I think it does need to be the shakeup. So that's the thing of like, yes, I understand that we may be limited in all of this and what we can do of coming in and saying the past is no longer working for us. But, with what we have right now, without having some sort of allocation model that we can give that guidance and say, based on these 5 categories is what I'm looking at with this, you'd be 10% of it is going to go to marketing and operations. 20% is going to go to destination marketing, whatever it is. And then it needs to fill in from there. And that's what LTAC does, is they decide with those broad categories.
If we can.
And we've been
talk about that data for a long time, not just that, but there's some organizations that say they have X amount of hotel rooms, more hotel
More
rooms,
hotel
days than we even
are
have hotel
exact.
rooms.
And that's
Yeah.
where it's like, it's an attestation, I understand that, but we also don't have any teeth to say, and we need that money back, because that doesn't
We
pass.
can't take the money back once it's, yeah.
And that's the problem too, is that there have been different things that have been allocated out that were meant for tourism, and later on, we find out that that was not a tourism event whatsoever. And so that's where it's like, okay, well, now we've given that under that guise, but what do you do when you find out information later? Is there any sort of, was this given out with the best of intentions that doesn't match anymore? So
Can we put a tick against their names for the next go round? No, I'm serious.
I think,
Contracts are always like responsible and responsive, and can we say, hey, you deviated from the truth? Is that euphemistic enough?
that's not gonna change the
But,
crux of the
and
issue.
therefore, you are not
Ineligible?
eligible this year.
Okay.
Say
I
we
don't-
carve out,
So-
we carve out.
It's sort of really hard to come up with even realistic numbers unless you just did something where everybody who participated, like stayed in the hotel, like you have really hard numbers. And, somebody could come to town and do a couple things. So I might count them and you might count them.
Oh,
You might
yeah.
count them, but they only spend one night,
Yeah,
so it's the most imperfect system I've
So
ever
imperfect.
but we can
seen.
get it as perfect as possible in
Yeah, but
Bremerton.
also there's not great, like follow-up, like, and it's hard, we have to talk about like, well, even if we had the law, we couldn't enforce it. Even if, it's really, it's
Capacity.
really hard to,
Yeah.
to evaluate, especially just on the materials that, somebody sits in an end of year report.
I think that DMO is gonna help a lot.
Well, and then one of the things though is like, an option too is like the DMO could then have a $20,000 fund that they could
They could be the event
some
sponsor.
smaller,
Oh,
things, and then we get out of the administration of the little contracts.
Yeah.
And it could also be easier for the applicants because they wouldn't have to do this,
a point of contact.
they
Yeah,
would
that's
go
what we
sit
talked
with
about.
somebody
Yeah.
and say, oh yeah, we'll give you $2,000 for your event. Put
Yeah.
a city logo and our logo
We
on
can
it.
definitely do that. Let's keep it simple.
Yes.
Okay. No, you're listening and processing. I know it's complicated. I just want to like summarize what I heard and just wonder if we need like this is a fun discussion and it's really nice to bring the new folks into the fold on this. It's such a weird conflict of interest laden program and the data is not good data. And I love that you're digging into that. I heard that Kylie is looking into the funding allocation, like if that's a possibility.
That was just the same thing about whether the city has to submit an application or whether the city can just get off the top of it.
Yes.
I don't know if it's skimming off the top. I think what Michael is saying is, right, allocating to budgetary priority.
But it has to go.
We know what
through
you're
OPEB.
talking about. Can we do it?
Yeah, so basically,
Higher.
before you send the amount of money to the committee, you want to know if the city can allocate money to its own project.
Like we usually do, like we've done with the conference center and with the Admiral.
No, I believe the committee still votes on that.
They
That's
do.
what I've been told. I've not.
They do
I've not
vote
had
yes or
one
no.
when I was-
They vote yes or no.
Or could we do it in pot?
Um,
So the council, the committee would still make choices.
That's what I like, a couple things when you talk about committee membership. One thing I don't think you've ever had is you can't have a non-voting member that's a county elected official. Well, that was interesting, we've never had that. And they can have.
That's how we figured out that the city does get a
So the
voting,
city person is on there, but
Right.
there can also be.
a non-voting county.
County person could be on it. But,
Does it be an elected county person or
they
just?
do, but it doesn't say their office.
Oh,
The coroner
Yeah,
is
the
not
coroner.
elected official anymore. How do I know that? Because I ran.
All I'm.
You ran for
Well,
corner?
Yeah, I'll update you later.
Do you have enough, Kylie?
I will say that I will look into it again. But,
Okay.
I would really, it is not the, I don't like the statute, and I know that that's not your problem, but if, you know, we do talk to our legislators. I think that it would be really great
Yeah,
if someone looked at LTAC.
clean it up.
And clean it up, because it is, the interpretation of it is based on, AG opinion, MRSD articles, people read.
And it's just not a priority for
an
legislature.
opinion from the state auditor. And it would be really great if there's multiple updates to it that didn't really fit
Mesh.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
And to me, it seems odd that you have to pick from the list that you're given. And so people can get left off the list.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the interpretation that we dealt with last year, and that's what's out there. Because you are the elected officials, and you should be deciding how the tax money is spent.
Mhm.
They're an advisory committee, but in that advice, they can limit your.
By giving
options
$0 to
by
something.
giving $0 or not
That's off the
advancing
table.
applicants. And so
Mhm.
the things that we're done with dealing, or that we have to look at are that you're only allowed to award money to applicants, so you can't, do it if it's not an applicant, and you can change amount, but you can't,
If they've not funded something, we can't fund it.
right. And the city has to submit an application.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could talk to our lobbyist before the legislative session this year.
I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there, that it really isn't a great statute.
I'd rather talk to our reps. Mike, at what point do you know how much money there is to play with?
Within reason, kind of like you can see the projection after mid-year, kind of where we're at with the current fund balance and the projection. So, and then within a month, I give kind of a number.
Okay.
It's not a lot of money after all the carve-outs
I know.
come out.
No, it's really
The
not.
Admiral,
It's like
the conference
$400,000,
center.
$500,000.
Last
450.
850,000, we went from 850.
Yeah.
If all the rooms are good.
250 and 150.
No, that was.
Yeah.
Can we,
Oh,
I understand that we can't change the membership of the committee because, you know, wrong and bad. Can we, however, put in place a policy like Bainbridge is, that's like, you can totally
Shared-
stay on the committee,
Or could we,
you just can't receive, your
Yeah,
organization
two
just can't
more
receive any
people.
money.
No, yeah, we're in circles now. Kylie said that we are interpreting it differently than that.
Right, and I can review that. I'm just telling you, that's how it's been
We don't want to
interpreted
get
by
another jurisdiction.
our office historically, and that's why it's been the way it is. And
But
so, and we can revisit it. I will say, like, Westport has a very interesting LTAC. They have it where, like, it has to be someone from the charter fishing industry. It has to be,
Huh.
they go into specifics as
Yeah.
to
Sector of,
sectors under
huh,
approved uses, which I thought was interesting. So.
whale watchers over here.
could we have 6 community members serve on?
At
Is
least 5. It doesn't.
Right, so
but the
like
community members are 2 now, right?
Well, there's there's
2
4.
from agencies and 2 from lodging.
Right.
And then the committee
Right.
chairperson council. But could we add 2 more folks,
We definitely could.
even a third hotelier or a third nonprofit, just to maybe,
we're having a hard time even getting people. We're still short one.
Hotel or community?
Maybe we
Hotel.
get through this
The
year.
community people are,
More.
the community people are on until the end of the year.
Oyster Bay dropped out,
Yeah.
She moved away or something.
Yes.
new management.
So in the past, I noticed on this application, it talks about it, this is a reimbursement mechanism.
Yeah.
Has it always been a reimbursement mechanism?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
actually, not
Polestar, I think it was Polestar,
No?
I was looking, they have a packet that you can see, like, they make it public, the packet that came, are we going to make this public? Where it's
Yeah.
like redacted personal information and all
Yeah.
that fun stuff?
No.
And then, you know, from there, once, if it is a
Public meeting.
reimbursement mechanism, do we have like part B of this? that we get to see of like, okay, so we said you're gonna get $50,000 and then you put in for the reimbursement showing you paid $50,000, here's the receipt.
Well, a lot of times it's like bits and pieces.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, Melinda, do you want to talk about like how many different times you
Exhibit B.
process, like say Sunny Sanders? I know she
Okay.
applies for, she sends you invoices in regularly.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, I mean,
It's not
everyone,
just
you
a
know,
one time.
you have the wording or whatever that is, and then they help you invoice a month with our own invoice monthly, and, you know. And they're treated.
I make it
They
efficient.
can do that every month, they, that's their organization. They're running, then short, and they're gonna have cost. Sunny is more of an event type
Right.
reimbursement for me. Some of the like the for the as well.
So-
The exhibit B though, that's online, they put that on the exhibit B, the reimbursement form, they just do it in tiny pieces.
They
Or,
can, but-
Yeah.
whatever cadence
Yeah.
they decide. Okay.
It could
Like an
be 12.
expense report.
Summary of, you know, they've done it in different ways. I don't make them do it, you know, okay, so here's all of your storage building. Say all of your operations. And then provide for that. And
I pull mine out basically out of QuickBooks. So so it'll be like all the break, because it might be, I may do a percentage of something that goes to this. And, then I basically it just makes it as an invoice to kind of build the city for the percentage of the things or the
Do
whole
we
thing.
make it, do we make it public, the exhibit Bs?
I don't think they're online, but I think they're,
they
But it-
become part of the accounts payable. So, I mean, technically, it's probably subject.
it's out.
Public
Yeah,
record.
I was gonna say it's public disclosure, but I mean, I would hate to send you a giant thing. Can I have all your exhibit Bs? Thank you.
I remember though, the committee had requested the, final report or the most recent report from an applicant.
Like, close out.
And that wasn't provided to the committee. We were told that no applications would be forwarded to the committee unless they were eligible after reviewing their performance, but we weren't given details of the performance, you know, like their last report or whatever they're saying that they're doing. We just made an assumption that when we got the application, they were in good standing with the city. Isn't that correct, Melinda? That's how I'm.
There is a detailed final. There is, as you're mentioning, I think we exhibit for our final reporting. Every reimbursement includes that reimbursement. I don't know what particular item you're talking about. But I'm
I think-
sure if I can even answer that,
Well, it's like how did they perform last year? You know, did they meet, you know, their expectations that they set for themselves? Did they meet those goals? Yada, yada, yada. And I was just always told that if an application comes to LTAC, it means it was in good standing.
I think what that's making me think of is definitely like finance and Melinda probably look to make sure they got the report and the report is
Right,
the right thing
right.
before they allow for us to move
The new application to go
application
forward.
on. But I
Yeah.
do think, the
Yeah,
committee should
in the front end.
maybe have to review.
I would think so.
the
So
applications from-
she's saying that's what Melinda's saying, new.
She doesn't see the applications,
Yeah.
so they could be in bad standing.
Whoa.
So we don't know if they're in good standing or not. Like, remember there was a
No,
question.
that's what like Mike will do, right?
Yeah, it was a conversation that had place, I think you need Christine in the process. Well, she sees all the intake, the coordination I have between our office with Christine, will be Ann, as she's been here now, going on a year. There's conversations of who's applying, we see those, we talk to Christine, so that's the front end. Melinda handles the back end, in the process for reimbursements, create contracts. It
Right.
doesn't have anything to do with how they perform. It depends on what kind of performance you're looking
And
at.
the other thing,
We would let you know if they're in bad state.
I think it's really tricky
Oh,
is,
so bad.
let's say I ask for $50,000 and I get awarded 15,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to work with, so it might be
You
that
have
I
to
was
amend
gonna
the
do all
contract.
this stuff.
Yeah,
But now I can only do,
right,
30% of it.
right.
So then hopefully we'll with Melinda and create something, but I can also create this, well, I read their application, even when they're reviewing them, the committee will say well, it's such a big thing, will this even?
That's why I'm looking forward to a day when we have an agency that'll do all of that.
So how much money do we set aside of LTAC to cover all the staff time? Because there's a lot of staff time involved in this. Zero?
We can charge up to a
You can
certain,
charge for administrative fee, like you do, yeah,
The county
but we
does that.
currently do not.
we don't.
Does that have to be changed in the ordinance?
For administrative, I'd be
Or
sure
you have to vote on?
I mean, when you think about it, CDBG and home, they
Yeah.
fund 100% of Sarah Lyman's.
Administrative costs.
Yes, and it's no more money than LTAC every year.
Yeah.
But in LTAC, we could bill up to a certain point, and Westbrook, Maine even recommended that $10,000-15,000 a year at least,
At least.
to bill. Yeah,
And then the committee has to just say, well, we're gonna either finish it all today. Or we're gonna vote.
I would think that would be
on
by
that.
ordinance, which they wouldn't
I'm
have
looking at
the.
that current code, I don't think it's not in there right now, obviously, but, I mean, I can look at it, it obviously would hurt, put it in the code, right, but, I don't know if I have to.
Oh, okay.
I can. So, there was a question, I wanted to make sure I'm making a, there was a discussion. Talking about committee makeup, and what our current code right now, what the council previously wanted was what you're used to, the one council person, the two fifths owners, and the two executives. We have
Mhm.
5. That's the bare minimum that's required under state law,
right,
but it doesn't mean that you can't have more
right.
than others. The only rule on that is that your hoteliers or those that's,
Has to balance
they
it.
have to be the same.
Yeah.
So if you increase the number of one, you have to increase the
Yeah,
number of others.
That makes
And it doesn't
sense.
mean that you can't have other people.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't know that we need to sort that out tonight. Things like that. It's just fun to talk about.
Well, that would be for next year anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's not something you need more. That piece is just the allocation piece and then the administrative cost piece. I just want to make sure I ask the question.
Mhm.
I'm pretty certain.
I'm shocked that we haven't been
No,
paying for Melinda
no.
or Mike.
No, or Christine.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah, the prior conversation, I would be mentioned it a couple years ago, looking at it, but then it's how much money do we put on the street? And so that kind of conflicted with the council, want to put as much money out to our.
Oh, I'm just picking up on this, but I meant
So,
administrative costs aren't covered.
No,
we could be
We
covering
should
them out of
be-
LTAC, but
We
we
should be
haven't
doing
been.
that, okay. Cool.
So, and I understand that, but okay, times are different now. We need to pay for our services.
we said you use restricted money first.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you're looking.
that's right.
Yep.
That's right. If you can build that contract, build that contract. Okay,
Keep it in the.
It's
house
not like
budget
these are
first.
cookie cutter contracts that Melinda has to put together.
yeah.
It takes time and then it has to go through law and.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
mean, there's
incredible.
A
Yeah,
lot,
yeah.
so.
Okay, are we done with this
Oh,
one?
and the last thing I wanted to make sure of was that perhaps, I don't know if I was proposing leaving the, application as a draft, having the words draft stamped on it in case there's any more, or are we deciding that we're gonna leave the application like it is?
When do we have to put the applications out, Anne?
I think I targeted the end of this month, but we mapped out the timeline so that we could award the contracts in November and hopefully get people wrapped up by the end of the year instead of going into.
So it's
late.
November, so,
Keep the application draft.
well, wait a second. I'm gonna be gone from November 10th until the 25th or something.
I'll be
And-
here.
So you can take over as chair to discuss the LTAC. Okay,
you, Denise. Mhm.
Do you
okay.
have experience
to.
with this?
A lot.
Yes,
I just had one really quick thing. Neither Juneteenth nor Island Hut festivals were aware of these monies. So,
That's not entirely true. Denise
They're
and I
aware.
both have worked with Bailey multiple times to talk to him.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
go on and I'll explain why they weren't aware.
that's fine. Akuye Vargas was not aware.
That's not,
I'm just saying, I just think that we have a community engagement person. We have Dr. Briggs. It'd be good to bring her into the loop on this.
Okay, the reason why Island Hut didn't know about it was they changed their email from the time when they first applied for it. And they never told anybody that they had updated their email address.
I've had experience emailing.
Yeah.
And
So that's why they didn't get it. I don't know anything about,
The others, you know,
Yeah.
if you're not a 501c3 or, you know, it's
Yeah.
just, and we hear it every year.
we didn't know about these funds, but I mean, I remember working directly the year they applied,
Yeah.
contacting Bailey directly and then connecting him directly with you.
Yeah.
And you provided technical assistance
Yeah.
for him to apply.
Yeah.
And so it is hard to know
We
year
don't
after
do
year
that
when
every
they're
year.
coming up.
right,
So,
we can put it on our council webpage.
and maybe
There's
if Dr.
some-
Briggs has those connections, I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
If she has a wider range of, a wider reach to bring in new applicants.
Rick, I think you had some questions.
I
Give you a
I
chance.
don't have a question, I just have a comment. As far as hotel, it's kind of on Christie's line, the hoteliers. I mean, we know that there are events, like the Washington State Science Fair. Okay, the dates for that are probably already set. And I went to that last year, and most of the people in the room were not from Bremerton.
They 100% bring in heads and beds.
Right.
So you've got hoteliers on the committee, could they give you some statistics? Like the air show this week. Is
Definitely.
that bringing anybody in?
It's often
They've seen-
anecdotal.
They've seen an increase in people. So I agree, you can't directly tie it, but if they saw an increase around an event. I
But
don't
trust
know.
me, Mike Huey sits on it, the science fair is well represented on the LTAC committee.
But you're talking about the hotel. So what my experience with the hoteliers is that they don't have statistics directly relating to that, but they can give anecdotal data on spikes. And and so in the past, the hoteliers have asserted that the science fair brings people in. We've asked about a couple other events, but it's anecdotal.
Yeah.
There's
Brick
not, they don't
Class.
have,
Francis would be another one.
There is-
Oh, man,
there
they
is
bring in so many people.
software, The
That-
Bainbridge
that was all,
Tourism Group.
Yeah,
There's-
Datafy and other
Data
ones.
science one is one called Air something too.
Yeah.
That you can.
Well, and that was what this DMO would invest
Include your
in
needs
and,
too.
you know. So, yeah.
You already got it covered, thank you.
We're hoping to.
We're hoping.
But the point I'm trying to make to that is a DMO can actually help us. as a
Exactly.
city track
Exactly.
When things are busy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, wait, then we would have actual data.
What? A single source data?
But
That's
reliable.
Okay, so what do we do with this? Is this
Evidence-based.
going forward? What,
So I think the first question is, we want to change the criteria from what we set, 18 months ago. And
I don't know that I mean, I was saying we can, but can we change the criteria to streamline? I personally think your idea for funding allocation is a better idea and easier if it's possible,
you can do it with the current resolution.
right? Whatever, the least amount of work to, interference.
So Kylie, are you hearing that?
Taking notes. It was, we don't want to have to touch our resolution. But we are pending your interpretation of whether or not we can do funding allocations. But I don't know that that's gonna pass.
I thought she said that we had to do an
Percentages.
application based on,
I believe. Fresh answer.
So then,
Okay.
should we still continue to put draft on the application and discuss it further, is what Michael's asking?
The deadline is August 20th, no?
Oh,
the draft.
it's on the draft.
You you only need a short window to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they don't
people
need a
will be
month.
waiting.
So what if we put it on our next study session?
On July 29th.
That will not.
How many things
How
can we
about
put on
the,
July
how about
29th?
the 22nd? And we can, have answers by then. Anything else on LTAC?
It's just really, really small, like typo
Tiny.
level, small,
Yep.
which is, I've now had 2.5, well, 3 constituents say that they had a difficult time finding the alerts because they're way up above the photograph of Bremerton. Like, so they.
In bright red, like right.
Right,
at the
but they're,
top.
they scroll
the
down
very
to the,
top.
past the photo to the council page, and then they can't find the alerts. And I blush to admit it, but I too, like, I was like, wait, they're way up there? I never look up there. And apparently other people aren't.
Is that for LTAC?
LTAG, the budget survey, all that jazz, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's, I think that's something we have to check with Kelsey on, the way that the website's formatted.
I will say when people access it on their phone, it's right there. I know not everyone is on their phone, but a lot of people do. When we submitted last night, we had 41 survey responses, and I did the push, and we got almost 40 more overnight.
Yeah.
So, I understand there's some people that had it, but
Once you find it, you know to look there.
Right,
Wait, is this about
there you go.
LTAC? About
Yeah.
LTAC?
Well, for all the things, the budget
Oh.
survey is there too.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, this,
But honestly, it's-
Okay, we moving on?
Let's talk
Okay,
about drugs.
So
So
we
I'm not
are,
seeing the same thing.
we're gonna talk about this one more time on the 22nd.
How exciting.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Next up is item A5, and myself and Kylie are going to discuss the approach on the future of opioid settlement funds.
And I'm just gonna stop from here. If that's okay. You want me to come up there?
Yeah.
It's good for recording.
Kylie.
Who pinned her in?
What?
I believe that's Dr. Riley.
Oh.
All right. You want me to start, Jane?
Yeah,
Okay. So this is a presentation that I see kind of as a part of what I've been hearing council talk about with the budget. We wanted to know about 4 sources of funds. Affirmative litigation is a source of funds, not a big part source of funds on a year-to-year basis, but it can be. And this is what we call affirmative litigation. This is where the city is getting money versus being the defendant in a lawsuit. So these are the opiate funds. And over the last couple of years, we've all been asked to approve opiate settlement. Those are part of a group of settlements that being handled through the Attorney General's office. And just to cut to the chase with the numbers, if you look at the memo that I prepared that's on the end of the packet.
It's the last 2 pages.
Yep. So, received to date is 1.1, estimated total is 3.4. There's also, we know from the presentation we had earlier this year from Salish, even though 1.1 has been remitted to them, I don't know that 1.1 has been spent. So we have a contract with Salish, they will help to administer our opiate funds in a pool with county, as well as Bainbridge and Orchard, and then Jefferson and Fallon counties as well. It is not required that we have them administer our funds. It was something we decided to do back when we were entering the opiate settlements, and the hope was that by pooling our resources, that we would have a greater impact on the opioid crisis, and there would be an opportunity there for regional collaboration. And I think there's certainly been a distribution of naloxone, educational programs, that kind of thing. But I know that we're also getting into budget, and this is a source of revenue. And I want the council to understand the options and make some decisions here. The money cannot just be spent in any way we want. It's required to be spent with opiate abatement strategies. We reviewed those, and it appears that there are certainly some things that we have going on in house that would be eligible for using those funds here in our own program. Top of the list is the municipal court treatment court program. I know a few of you, I think they reached out to the chair of public safety and our council president and our council vice president. There's a treatment court meeting coming up, and tomorrow, it isn't going away with our new judge. More participants now than there were previously. And so
Carrot.
yeah, so that's one thing. Also, obviously, you're very familiar with Common Street. We think some of the work that they do could be eligible. And then another one is for first responders. This includes things like training, PPE, and mental health support for some exposed members of our team. So those are some things that we've just identified off of the top of us just thinking on it. And that is not comprehensive. There could be more. That was really what just my staff was able to identify looking at the list. Like, hey, we do that, we do that, we do that. Interestingly, though, Salish still serves as the regional sort of body in which we would be reporting. So we'll still have a relationship with them. It's just something that I thought that we should look at. We have new council members that frankly didn't sign on to Salish. We have, questions. Well, and it's a source of funds, right? And you're heading into budget. So the way it works is if you wanted to self administer the funds, have the city self administer the funds, it would be Mike. The good news is Paul Poe does it, and Mike's great friends with their finance director. And my understanding is that it is not unduly burdensome.
Okay.
And so it can also be a thing where the city would develop similar to the process we just talked about, like an RFP and solicit bids from the community for other programs. But I didn't bring that forward because this was in the realm of like budget discussions. And so it was sort of, what could we be doing with funds that are coming to us to help with
Our current expenses
issues.
that are
Yeah.
being used.
And so
to-
this is, I like
I
it.
also like that if
A few
we're
extra bucks.
funding something that we already got up and running, we're able to then leverage the funds that Salish has to take out for their administration.
When you I'm sorry, Mike. When you presented this in 23, you were very firm that the administration of the funds would be onerous.
We did
would
think
be
so.
unduly burdensome.
Yeah,
It was all new.
Okay, but not so much.
not so much.
We had a meeting with a couple people from Polsbo. Kim Hendrickson, is that her name?
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
best.
Right, her and their administrator, Rob Gilder. And they said that it was very minimal.
Yeah.
And so then we had Mike confirm that by talking to
They
the.
said it's minimal to us. You should probably talk to our finance director because they're the one that actually does it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I think compared to some of the other things that they have to administer, I
Like
guess I would say-
LTAC.
Yeah, but it's not like although it could be, and I would say they're depending on what the city did with it. If it was administering it to do new programming, I think
No,
very different than existing
I
programs.
think we're looking to offset current programs.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So, I'm just a quick rundown though. It doesn't look like it's gonna be that much every year.
It's not, we did get one of the reasons that.
One-time payment.
ours, We had a larger one-time payment, so.
I think it worked out to just under 200,000 a year.
So that's a couple of FTEs.
Not that we're gonna hire a couple of.
Right, but it's
FTEs,
enough.
Yeah,
So, and one thing that you'll hear eventually, I think, is that if you recall, when we got our treatment cohort up and running, a lot of that was grant funded
Yeah.
through the state and AOC. And like what Michael was just talking about, they do that whole seed money thing. And so the grant funding that we're getting now is less than what we were getting
yeah,
years before. And
Yeah.
so I think the court is going to be looking to make a request to council at some point for treatment court support. And so this is a place where that, potentially that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm
Okay.
going to get that in front of you now because it is a 60-day lead time if we were to terminate our agreement with them
Yeah.
and let them know. And but put this on as information only because I didn't know how you wanted to approach this, to give you more information, what you wanted to do. So this is just sort of here's a thing that we could do. Here's the amount of money involved. Here's some options, and how do you want us to proceed from here?
And
Okay. When you say the treatment court is treating more people, it used to be treating like 7.
It's
It was-
back up to 7. It had gotten down to 1.
It's back up to 7 people.
I think so. I'll find out more tomorrow. When I hear it, there's usually like people who are in and people who are viewing is what we call it. They haven't quite decided. And then as it continues, then I know, people who are on warrant status or, and so the number active participation, but
Yeah, fluctuates.
Based on that, based on the data we have so far, I would go for giving it to Common Street, who's going to work with people to prevent them from getting into the justice system.
yeah, I think
I think I'd lean towards getting out of the ILA and,
I think we'll go toward whatever
yeah,
we can that
And
we're already paying.
can I
Hey.
just real quick?
Sure, Jennifer, go ahead.
Okay, so for the new council members, I think that the reason we're having this discussion is because we've had concerns with the products that Salish has brought to us. So I think that, and I was defending them when they were here because we did sign, we did want an analysis of what the,
yeah.
of
They
what
did a survey.
they did a survey. And then that's about it. And then a couple of boxes.
A database of other people who are working on this problem.
Okay, so it's just a kind of like a.
And there's a couple billboards.
Bang for your
And a
buck.
lot of administration.
Well, there's a
And the middle
naloxone
school
that was
presentation.
I
of
mean,
the
there is a lot of
teenager
naloxone
room.
that's been distributed and that's a big deal.
I got
Yeah.
four
The
at my house.
unfortunate, I mean, like, which is good because it's
Yeah.
taking more.
Yeah.
And more and more. And so I don't want to compromise that, but, I think naloxone is pretty readily available in a lot of places
Mhm.
now and not just through this organization.
Yeah, the
I can
world
go to
has
Kaiser and
changed
get
even
it for
since
free,
this was
right?
Go to
signed.
PEX and get it. for
Yeah,
free.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Well,
Pex is getting it from Salish.
that's where they get it from.
It's true.
So it sounds like there's interest in
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Self-administering the funds.
Yes.
What I can do is I'll put together this to move forward with the council to move to approve terminating the ILA and all of that. And I will do that. Do you want that on for next week's consent agenda?
I would like it to be. Does
Yeah.
anybody have any
Yeah, I don't
concerns
think
about
there's
next
any
week?
reason.
Okay, I'll put together an agenda, Bill.
Okay.
Wait, on next week.
We can get out of the ILA and then
We don't have
at a
an
later
agenda.
date determine to whom we wish to.
Yeah, you don't have to do everything.
We don't have.
She'll have it
To vote
uploaded on
on.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just be an agenda bill. I mean, it's just gonna be moved to, terminate the ILA and authorize the city attorney to.
Do it.
and
Start that 60 day.
This doesn't sever our relationship with the real team, right?
No, but
Just check.
I mean, I don't think that those are tied together.
Okay. Just
I
check.
think that they like people to show up with them. They send out a lot of notices. for their
Yes, Rick.
meetings.
So Salish, the administrator,
Yeah, so it's the Administrative Services Organization, which is, and they also serve as our regional opiate abatement council or opioid abatement council. So they would be moving from, I think, the role as our administrative service organization, but they would remain our regional of the council, meaning we've been submitting our like reports to them for what we are spending the money on.
They do catch up Jefferson Clallam, right?
It's like the Olympic region.
So like under potential city programs eligible, so first responders, is Salish doing the?
No.
Right now?
No.
No, they don't do
Right
any
now,
of it.
Salish is administering the funds.
How they choose
No,
to.
but separate from the city program. So they're doing regional type programs. They've done some education programs. They're distributing a lot some. There's a large list of what is an eligible expenditure, and they did a survey and they set about doing their work based on those results, and they've done a couple presentations for the council on it. What the potential city programs, so what we did is we looked through the eligible uses, and there's a bunch, and noted that we had some that we could just easily identify, like here's some things that we're doing.
Offset the cost within our own agencies.
Yeah, we're already doing, and so there could be more. So this was just I didn't want to overwhelm everybody, but we think that we will be able to. We have enough expenditures that we can self-administer.
Right?
Keep it
Okay,
in-house. So you can have an agenda bill put up on Friday on.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna look similar to the one that you have. It's just gonna, at the end of it, you're gonna say,
We're breaking up with you.
we're still,
We're not
we really
ghosting you.
can't. I
It's
mean,
not me, it's you.
No, so,
Oh.
yeah, it's just, we're still gonna have a relationship with them. Like I said, there's still
Yeah.
gonna be our,
We have to report to them
right,
on our progress, and that
on how we're spending the funds.
the regional, it's kind of like OESD for the school district. Yeah.
Yeah.
If nobody knows what I'm talking about, they didn't work for the school district.
I actually do know.
You do know, okay.
Okay, so, we'll get that taken care of, and I'll put back on the consent.
Consent.
Great.
Thank you.
Yay. Been bugging me for a long time.
That teenage bedroom.
I know. I was trying to explain that to somebody and they're like, what?
What are you talking about, teenage bedroom?
That was part of the thing. They schlepped around to middle schools with a recreation of a teen bedroom, and they educated parents
They find the
about.
drugs.
Oh. I don't remember this.
I do.
I would have found the drugs right away, just so you know. That's something I'm still very good at.
Okay.
Go to anybody's house.
Yeah.
That sounded so
General-
bad.
It's almost
I
8
don't
o'clock.
do drugs.
We digress.
It's almost 8.
Is
Let's
that
go to
germane?
general council business.
About the committees.
That's what it is. Finance, investment, parking committee briefing. Chair Michael Goodnow, were you there?
Okay.
Okay.
And let's see, we got a update on just financials through May. We are going to try to create, as they kind of prepare that, we're going to kind of ask them to prepare like a one-page dashboard.
Yeah.
You can all, we'll take a look at it, ask them questions, and then disseminate it to all of you. So it's something that's in the works. And let's see, we get an update, Ann, on the budget survey. We talked about the proposed amendment for automating traffic safety cameras. Is that one we just talked about, or is it the next series? Okay,
It's the same
so
one.
we talked about that, but we've also been talking about how we can move forward after we'll approve next week. We had I don't know if there was, I don't remember any general discussion items that we had. I don't have the minutes yet, so. But, okay.
So next, public safety and parks committee
Right.
meeting.
And so that was just yesterday. And so it was, we welcomed Parks and talked a little bit about, how that fits well and how it used to be on the committee. And then, oh no, that's what then Melinda was there.
Yeah.
So at finance, Melinda was talking about the other piece. And then yesterday we talked more about future. It's
They
weird
do
'cause
kind of merge.
we're the same,
Yeah.
we're the same committees.
Yeah.
Anyways, and that's where we were talking about, some of the funding, because it has to be used for traffic stuff, which could include, we believe, traffic calming and stuff. So it might be a way to put some money towards that. And that feels good to me, at least. We had a little bit of a fireworks brief, and it was worse this year.
Yeah.
It was an uptick, and it might be because it was on a Saturday. Sometimes
I would think
sometimes
so.
4th of July falls on a day where everyone's to work the next morning
Yeah.
or things like that.
Yeah.
But it was just,
Right,
right. So there's gonna be some different reasons why it was up. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it might fall. I think it falls on a Sunday next year, where Monday will be a holiday. So we'll just have to kind of see. But I know John Payne was out and about.
He's so good about doing
and,
prevention. And
he told some anecdotal stories and things like that. But I don't think there were no really serious
accidents or fires or
injuries,
anything.
Then we did have a little, just a tip of a early discussion on all the FIFA stuff, like how's it been going. Nobody knew what to expect, so
right.
they were able. There's definitely the USA games have been crazy, and then the noon games are just kind of very low key. So everybody's been able to adjust, and of course, the United States is out. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see if people
Even
show
with the
up.
red card drop.
I know. Right?
They were hexed.
We will see. Rigged.
Yeah.
Hashtag rigged.
So anyways, they're
And I know nothing.
continuing that, and I think it's all I can remember from yesterday. This meeting.
Okay.
I don't know what to think for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, what
I
was
know,
that?
I know, I'll call myself out on that one. We, double booked myself, so I had to run over from somewhere else, but I was surprised, the feedback for FIFA was that it has been very successful. It's always nice to hear from, a public safety point of
That's
view. with
right.
That, because for them, the measurement of success is very different than did you have a good time?
Yeah.
So that was always nice to
If
hear.
you hadn't got a
Crises
chance,
were avoided. Is that
you hadn't got a chance to go down there, it was just shoulder to shoulder
Yeah.
watching that screen.
Yeah.
And then this last time, we had 400 people inside the Roxy.
Wow.
That luckily
What's
that
your
was available
occupancy?
up 650.
Oh, okay.
But I also heard the Admiral had a good crowd.
They did. That's
and-
what I heard
and I'm sure
too.
lots of places had crowds. So it
The
was,
pictures are just fabulous.
it was really
Yeah.
exciting. And, I don't know, I feel like I'm of a generation, just a little old, where soccer really, I think I played it like Little League.
We played field
But
hockey.
it's become
Big
popular
after,
for a
yeah.
generation. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of younger people, a lot of kids and stuff.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Is it cool if I do a little shout out right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I believe the biggest fan of the fan zone, Rick.
Oh, definitely.
Every event swagged out.
I know.
was gonna say lapel pin, yes. So I
gonna
was
give him
joking
my
that I
Orca
think
card.
that you are the biggest fan of the fan zone here in Bremerton, because there has not been, I pop down at weird times to see at different things, and I run into Rick
Every time.
Or I just see him in the distance.
He's
I was
our
like,
fan zone
Not
fan.
today. I'm not even gonna go up to him today. Like I see him and yep, he's like.
He was
has been
always
the biggest fan.
excited too, like you came to the Warren Avenue Bridge open house and you were like, I have to go back. I think the men were playing that night.
And you've
Yeah,
tried all the places. You were at the Admiral. You've been to the Roxy.
Yeah.
Been to all of them.
I think it's great.
I'd just like to point out that I had a chance to tell people that the Roxy was free, open, air conditioned.
Yeah.
And that many kids and older people were extremely happy about it. And I just like to give a shout out to the executive director of the Roxy for.
Who is that?
That's the thing.
Who is
What?
that? That's- What's his name? Oh,
The sound is killer.
One other thing is, maybe we should just mention the open house that's on the 18th.
Oh, yeah.
Station 1, right?
Station
Station
One.
One.
So that, yeah, so that, and that's also fine, so I can't go, but if anybody else can go.
Yeah.
Station one, do you remember the time?
So many things happening on the 18th.
That's on Park, right? It's the one on
Yeah,
Park.
anyways, information's
And
out
it's
there.
somebody's birthday too, I just don't know. whose. I can't remember.
Whose birthday?
I can't recall.
This girl.
That's
And did
right. Your birthday always.
Did other people go to any regional meeting? I've got a couple that,
I also, the fan zone, I also saw the mayor and.
Oh,
Katie
yeah.
Walters.
I bet.
They're the FIFA duo.
We had, I mean, just briefly, we had a nice little meetup, with our Street Smart Bremerton reps, with John Clausen, with, Tara Simmons, a couple other constituents, one outside of the city, so not a constituent. And we just talked about transportation issues. Talked about, and it was really interesting because and this was not pre-planned. You guys know I've got an agenda item constantly. I talk about every meeting, right? And this was
Did
not.
Pine Road come up?
Did Pine Road come? As a matter of fact, it did. But what the really interesting discussion was in talking about, ridership and how ridership is down. And one of the folks said, it's sometimes it's difficult to get to those bus stops. And so wouldn't it be nice if we could partner with, the county or the city, whatever, to make it easier to get to these bus stops? And he lives off of Pine and Rydell. And so, and we also talked about Tracy Beach Road, and so it was just a really interesting discussion. Yes, Pine Road came up not at my prompting, but our Street Smart Bremerton folks had more to add. But it was also just a nice meetup for folks to kind of learn a little more about Kids Up Transit. Like, most people don't know that we don't get to tell Kids Up Transit what to do because you're an independent board, right? Mm-hmm. So he's able to explain how the board structure worked. Just a nice meetup. That's all.
Do they have any accurate data yet? They haven't had it since 2022.
Well, I got some accurate data.
What
I
else?
got some accurate data yesterday.
Is it Orca data or actual data?
This is data from FIFA. So we paid approximately $600,000 for upgrades to Kids Up Transit for
Okay.
FIFA. So on the days of a game, they ran the fast ferry until almost midnight. They ran a special bus that went Bainbridge Island to all the hotels in Poulsbo. They also got new signage. So they had about $400,000 that was covered, and then the additional $200,000 came out of bus funds. But then even though there's some people who said, well, this is great, we know how to prepare now if there's a big event, the ridership was underwhelming, as John put it. It was there were buses that were empty. There was some ferry times that were empty. So that was a big part of Kids Up Transit's meeting.
They talked about what they try to do to get ridership.
Right.
Well, we talked
about ridership.
We talked
Yes.
about the shipyard
I
and
think
how
that's
difficult.
what they fall down.
Well, I think we need to go to fare freeze, because like the fast ferries pay less than 40% of what it costs, right? If we just go to free fares on bus, just look at all the things you're saving. Like, you're not having an argument with people who get on the bus for number one. So everybody's a lot
You're not
calmer.
paying for the machines themselves, you're not paying for the repair of the machines, you're not
I know.
paying for the FTE who takes care of all of the machines and putting them in and taking them out.
Well, and one of the, and I don't like this.
And it's for poor people. I mean, they admit it. They say out loud, fast ferries are for wealthier people and the buses are for the poorer people.
Well, and then one of the arguments is always an insulting argument that it becomes a warm, dry place for people to stay all day long. You know what? That's not.
Is that the worst thing in the world?
A, no, it's not. And B, I mean, they're stopping every half hour. It's not like the bus drivers aren't gonna go and check on somebody who's staying on their bus all day. It's so. I'm just not, we talked about that too at our meeting, so. I agree, it should be free fare. Makes a good, lots of good arguments for it, but we don't really get to control that because, well,
Well, we are having a 6-hour long retreat on the 20th of July.
Don't you want to be a fly on that wall?
Well, Ed Stearns, your total
Is
supporter on
everybody gonna
that.
ride
Yeah.
by bus?
I
The
am,
retreat should be on a bus.
oh,
I am gonna take the
Try.
bus to the retreat.
Right here.
so you thought you got her, but
That's
Yeah,
good.
you didn't.
No, I think that, no, that'd be.
Yeah.
That's my non.
Oh, sorry, I'm 20 minutes
Oh, there-
late. I had to take the bus.
So everybody who goes has to.
Got that.
Okay, so next gets up 911.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know.
So,
I'll be
they're
there.
hiring an executive director. Hopefully they got a quorum of board members, which now there's 13. To go for the interviews on Thursday. I'm not sure they're gonna have a quorum. I can't go. I've got something going on.
Now there's 13 today.
We had our first discussion about the reduction of the
Okay.
board,
Okay.
and they're giving us different options, you
Okay.
know? And so the option that most of the board members went for is get it down to 5 people on the board. Go from
Ooh,
13 to 5, and that seemed to be the most popular.
wow.
Um,
That's an executive board.
I know, and so you
Lean
don't
and
need an
mean.
executive board. You
Just
have,
have,
just have a board.
That's all seems, it
Okay, so,
would be an advisory.
well, there are advisors from law, well, the sheriff by law, by ordinance has to be on, right? So then the county would have 1 commissioner. Bremerton would have 1 instead of the 3 we have now. And the 3 small cities would combine and just have 1 for them, and they would
They could rotate.
rotate. Then I forget who the 5th was. Mayor, who was the 5th?
The other small cities,
They should think
Yeah.
about it at large.
because we have commissioner, sheriff,
Commissioner.
And no, I did say, I counted,
sheriff,
Yeah.
city of Bremerton,
yeah, small cities,
small cities of 4.
right.
They saw number 6 was a strategic advisory board.
Member, yeah. But there's a,
Number 5,
there's a 5th in there, and I couldn't remember who the 5th was.
Community member?
No.
fire
That'd be
commissioner,
nice.
Fire district,
Oh,
fire commissioner.
the
Oh,
fire
okay.
commissioner.
Yeah.
So that's what and now we're gonna have different things
Do I
to,
still need to come to these meetings?
pardon?
Do I still come to these meetings?
Yeah, the board hasn't changed it.
Okay, cool. I'll come.
Here you come. But yeah, the next one, they're gonna, well, we have August off, you know,
Yeah,
but in September,
KRCC.
there will be another set of options for us to discuss as a board.
And we're off KRCC and Kiss Up 911 in August. We'll talk about that later.
911, they went ahead and scheduled that. We need to get an executive
Okay.
selection. We have-
Oh, they changed the meeting so that you can have a hiring meeting. Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
none of us can be there.
I know,
Oh,
Yeah,
see what that goes on.
okay.
so,
Trust the process.
and then because my neighborhood had what I consider mortars going off
Yeah.
every 10 to 15 minutes during the afternoon of the 4th, and then non-stop. I mean, it never stopped for 1 minute for as soon as it got, well, at 8 o'clock until well after midnight. So I tried Ava, the new AI phone system.
Oh, did you?
And it didn't work for me. So it ended up giving me a live person instead.
Okay.
But Maria, the executive director, did say that they did get a lot of calls in on that, successfully did come through. So
We'll
I
get
might-
a report or
I
something.
might have said a
of that.
word that triggered Ava the wrong way or something, you know, because it's kind
Gotta
of,
watch out for those triggers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
man.
Your last name?
it could have been that. I had to spell my name 3 times.
Yeah.
and
Should
then-
try having 2 AI devices talk to each other. It's like,
Yes.
Oh, God.
just try it.
Okay, So that was Kids Up 911. Also, I'm gonna be giving more of a report at council next week about the blown up
Yeah.
little libraries and the food pantry. West Bremerton was out of control. I don't know about the rest, but West Bremerton, it was an awful place to be on the 4th of July. It was awful.
That's really too bad.
Well, I can definitely tell you that Lions Park was crazy,
Mhm.
as it always is. I didn't have a chance to go in the morning like I normally do because I had service. I was a Sunday morning, so I'm there early to do cinnamon rolls. Just so you know, it's cinnamon roll Sunday. And what I normally do is I go out and I check it out and I go like help, folks clean up. But it was all night, a big mess. I tried to wear noise canceling headphones.
Mhm.
And I just wondered if there's a sweep that's done at the parks at a certain time, if the police go at a certain time to clear the parks. Cause it just felt like it didn't stop even, and I woke up I think it stopped naturally at 3. And I had to be at the shop at 4.
I was still hearing them at 5.
Maybe it can be discussed a little bit more at public safety. It's always
Yeah,
fun.
I think it's
Can
something
I
good that we talk about in the fall,
ask?
maybe.
Is there a sweep of the parks that's done? Can I ask that now, that at a certain
Nobody's
time, or
here
is it
that
just?
really, no.
Did you say public safety in the fall?
No, I'm thinking a study session in the fall, maybe by then we'll have some real data from
Yeah.
Kids Up 911 and
This isn't a data point,
Police.
this is just anecdotal. Are
Mhm.
the police dispatched to clear parks at any given point in time?
I would doubt it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
But the whole, oh, go ahead.
they weren't dispatched on July 1st or 2nd either.
Right, and they've been blowing stuff up.
Well, I just mean to protect our parks in the nighttime.
Well, and the whole thing about waiting, I advocated that we wait another year for the
Like, is the
changes that have
250th
been made,
over?
right?
We've waited
But it doesn't seem to be working this
No.
second year, so,
Somebody needs to help the voters get this on a.
yeah.
Well, I've been asked and I said, well, I legally cannot start
Yeah.
that initiative.
But I do believe it's been on a ballot and it's failed in the past, right?
2004,
Countywide.
that was in 2004 though, and in Poulsbo, it was only at 30% when they did it in 2004, and then they passed it at 66%.
I want to tell you a story really quick now, so that rather than kind of call it out at my council report.
Is it about fireworks?
Yes, I have an
Okay.
employee who has epilepsy. This is something I didn't even know about. Everybody talks about vets and PTSD and animals, but she had to call out the next day because she gets seizures from the booming of the bridge blast. And so those mortars didn't help either.
Yeah.
She did not have to call out the next day, but she did have a seizure. So I just wanted to put that out there, that's a whole nother group we don't even talk about. Anyway. Thank
And
you.
there's been a lot of
Just a
online
minute.
discussion about that. People don't feel it's especially safe to have them in that bridge closed for 18 hours.
I'm ready for a drone show.
Me too.
Drones. Let's not approve any more fireworks.
I'm,
Funding.
I was proposing a ban a few weeks ago on gas stations, fireworks, and.
Let's just lump it all in there.
I
Let's take care of it. Hey,
And all the things.
ban all the things.
I agree.
Okay. So how about we have a discussion in September or early October about fireworks? We get that on the agenda for study session.
This is actually
Discussion about September.
Yeah.
Well, by then we'll have some data to see if it's worth it for us to decide whether or not we want to change our ordinance
Oh,
that allows 2 full days and claims that all we use are little tiny kitty.
There's mortars all
fireworks.
night and
It
like
was awful.
at park, it was low tide. They were all in the water. Like, oh, it was awful. Anyway, every year this conversation comes up.
Like, what are we gonna do?
It's like a
Well,
never ending story, but
We can change that ordinance all we want. It's gonna change.
Well, when we changed it, it made it worse.
Well,
No, it's
It was
too.
we don't know.
first
Remember,
year.
correlation does
Doesn't
not
equal causation.
necessarily.
but I saw people crowding around the fireworks stand at Safeway at like 6 o'clock on Saturday evening.
But they're only selling these kind of almost kid-friendly
Yeah.
driveway kind of stuff. But
Yeah, you gotta
we'll
go.
let anything up in their driveway, but
Well, the kids
Yeah.
behind me on the other side of the alley, were apparently old enough to be setting off mortars. So that was their kid-friendly firework.
Okay.
All right, well, how about, we'll decide at our next study session if we want to have a study session about.
I would like to have a study session about
Let's
that.
have a study session about that.
What's a light month?
Overall.
What's a light month?
what I'm saying is like,
I know.
what are we gonna do? What are
Are there
we
big
thinking?
things?
It's the same conversation that we have.
Over
We're gonna-
and over and
Do
over.
we wanna dial it back to only to the fourth? Well, I guess,
I would, I think it's
I'm not opposed
ridiculous
to
that
that.
we did, that there was.
It's
a
not
change.
gonna change anything. And I think,
Unless it gets enforced.
I mean,
There's residents who talk to me about how come we didn't get the sanctioned place to blow up fireworks down at Lions Park like you guys talked about. Because they listened to the,
sanctioned, we
Public
talked about
safety
sanctioned,
committee.
oh, like a parking lot was, we thought
We've
about ripping
talked
it off.
before about having a certain park
I
or
remember that.
whatever being sanctioned for fire. And
so
Like a parking lot,
it
maybe.
came up at a public safety meeting and they were asking me about it. And I said, well, I heard it was said and I heard that it was turned down as a bad idea immediately.
Okay. I don't remember that having traction.
no,
If I was
Maybe
ever, I was not,
parks parking lot should have gates. Maybe there should be signs that say.
We've, okay,
At sunset, just.
we had those,
I understand, but a lot of people they don't actually know that the park's not open, because there's 100 people every time
Yeah.
when they show up on 4th of July.
yeah.
So I'm just saying, we like keep moving in this direction, educate people, let them know.
do you not remember the pictures I brought? When I showed them at council
Well,
of all the families having fun, and it was just
No,
with the
that's,
parallel of the signs
I'm
thing.
saying a sign that's always at the entrance to the park. It says this park closed at sunset. or
I know,
whatever.
they
Is
were
that
there, it doesn't change it.
Sunset, is that what we said?
Okay.
10 o'clock.
Sunset,
Dusk, dusk,
so 4:30 in the winter. Okay,
they're from
well,
dusk to dawn.
I
You
think
better
we've
be.
beaten this to
Anyway.
death, so. One thing I wanted to let everybody know about is we're considering applying for a UW consulting project. It goes through the Dan Evans School of Public Policy. And it
Oh,
is something that would come out of council funding. And it's for them to look at how Bremerton currently seems to be the regional hub for social services. And I can't wait to show you all the map that I got a preview of today of the non-tax paying parcels. And
It's incredible.
we have the entire county.
A little depressing.
lab,
What does it have to do with the lab?
tell me.
So the lab, so they look at this information about how we have very few taxpayers, but yet we have the burden of hosting a lot of social services, right?
Okay, all right,
So for them to do an in-depth study
got it.
of Bremerton, in particular, sitting in Kitsap County or within the state, that there's an undue burden placed
Around
on
equity.
cities
You
like
think?
us.
Crazy
think?
go nuts.
And yet people have this opinion about us that we are just so uncaring, but we lead the
Oh,
county
by far.
in housing alternatives and compassionate options. So
Well, when
anyway.
you think about all the taxes that they're not paying, that is,
And
those
other,
are services that we're providing to the community without that tax.
and
support.
meanwhile, Bainbridge Island is in trouble for basically like not being in compliance with their like affordable
They just pay
housing
the fine,
mandate.
they don't care.
Well, I think it's more than paying a fine. I think there is a plan of, I think they have a plan.
I'd like to recall to your memory that at an old KCR report, one of the things I said was that the head of housing, Thomas, amazing guy, yeah, I can't remember, was pointing out that for many, many years, they had funneled all services into Bremerton.
Intentionally.
And now that they are, and I gave you guys the stats, which I don't have at the tip of my fingers, but it was like, well, Port Orchard and, at North Kitsap, Bainbridge, anyhow, they were a total of less than 200, 300 people. While at the same time, Bremerton had 10,000 intakes. So I think the funneling is still very much going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, they put the social services here and took away our hospital. And, you know, we,
Where have I heard that?
to host,
No.
to host all the social
It's a
services,
giant
it
crater.
costs us a lot of money that.
Yes.
Actually, it
we're-
looks rather lovely
We're
right now. It's
taking on the
blooming.
burden
It
for
does
the
look
whole
nice.
county.
What will it cost me to council to have them
$2,500 to apply for this.
It's,
Oh.
it's a lot of money.
consent? 2,500?
Are you guys
Consent.
forming like a small
Just
group
to
to get
apply,
this done?
And then
Is there?
2,500
application
to apply.
There's a work
We're
group.
working it
That's a
through the ad
huge
hoc
application fee.
homeless committee,
2,500.
but then we'll have,
It's not.
Ann's gonna like
Okay.
write it
Well,
and we'll
depends
have
on-
drafts available to show council before it actually gets sent out. It's
Oh,
due
The
at
end
the
of
end of
August.
August.
Since I have that community member who I think would be a very valuable asset in understanding some of this.
I called her today.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
She
I
didn't,
think
she
this
didn't
is
call me
very-
back, but I called her and
Okay.
left a message.
perfect.
Is it time for good
I
of the
have a
order?
quick
Yes,
one
it
too.
is,
Yeah.
it is time for good of the order.
And I can defer to you. I have a
Okay.
quick one, but I'll wait.
I want to circle back to last week in our pre-meeting. And we talked about the letter from Jane and I to BHA. And there was concern from Anna that it was on our website when it wasn't really from the whole council. And it's been bugging me ever since then. And I think it was because neither Christine or Michael were here. We made a decision really quick to take it off the council website. And I wanted to circle back to that and just take see where we are more as a
temperature.
whole council as to what should be done with that, if anything.
And
Can I just recap what I said? Real quick, which is, this letter was written to BHA, the last sentence, the first paragraph says, this is just from Jane and Denise. And I was like, I had no particular quarrel with any of the facts in the letter. It's just, it never came before us and suddenly it was on the council website.
Right.
That was my objection, was that when things are sent out in our name or in a way that appears to be in our name, it's gotta come before us first. That's my whole objection.
you feel like it appeared to be from us or?
That's what I was like, it was really clear that I read
Well,
it and I felt like
here's-
it did not involve me.
Here's where it was where I agreed with Anna. It was on the top under council alerts. And it said like, leadership
From
letter.
council
From
leadership.
council leadership. And I felt like I understood what Anna was saying because it was specifically from these two that maybe it should be on just their pages. Because I think if it didn't, I do agree. If it didn't come before us for approval as being from council as a whole, maybe it shouldn't be on our council website. But I mean, honestly, I'm agnostic to it, but I definitely, I agree.
Bring it in front of us.
Yeah. I don't,
Well, it
Well,
is
we've all
in
seen
front
it.
of you
We've
now.
all seen it now.
Yeah.
well,
Anybody opposed to it being on the general council page?
This is the process that this is all I wanted.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is why I wanted to circle back.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have consensus to put it back on the council
Sure.
webpage. Okay. That's great.
It's still only a letter from Jane unless you put it on an agenda.
Okay, well, can we do that for the, during the briefing next week?
Put it on the agenda.
We can put it on.
Put it on the agenda.
All right.
we're
Okay.
putting on the agenda, I'm sorry.
A letter.
To
And
do
we're
what with
voting.
it?
So that we would adopt it or something? It would be then from
Okay.
council? Is that what is being said? I don't know.
We
I don't
also-
think it's,
To put it on
Doesn't
their
really
website?
matter.
I
Yeah.
don't know that I need
Yeah.
that, y'all. I mean, that's why we elect leadership. It's the right.
I was gonna
for
say,
us.
it's out there. I think it's serving.
It's out there. We don't
Yeah.
need to do, I don't feel like we need to do nothing else formal with it.
if it's on the council website,
Sure.
that's enough.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, the people who have chosen to have it on their council page, have it on their page. And if it isn't on your page and you want it on your page, tell Ann.
Just doesn't change the,
Doesn't change the intent.
authorship of the letter. but-
Right.
Right, and we don't want to change that because that's a document.
It's a done deal. It was done, you
Thanks
know.
for getting done. And then,
Yeah.
and there was urgency to
There was,
establish this.
right. What was said last week that I want to make sure we're clear on is there's a difference between a letter coming from two council members and a letter coming from the president and the vice president of the council. So when somebody
What
says
is that?
the difference is it's leadership, we were voted into leadership positions. And with that comes responsibility to make decisions, which were made. And so that's the structure that we have. That's it. So it's very much like when you served on Public Works, Anna, and I think it was Ned who said, well, you all are just 3 council members, and I blew a gasket.
And I have already complimented you on it.
Yeah, I said, hey, no, we are the Public Works Committee. We aren't just 3 council members, you know, so the inference is there. And I think if it's on the council website, that's clear. Yeah, so I'm good.
I think leadership is, you know, you guys were elected as the leaders. I think doing stuff and putting stuff out there, out bringing it to us, putting our name on it, putting council's brand on it is just incorrect. I think it violates the Open Public Meetings Act.
Was anything in that letter
The fact
not public record?
I understand
Yes,
Anna's
all the
point.
opinions.
What
It
opinion?
was legal opinions that have already been actually shared with us as a body, though.
Yeah,
There were requests made at the end, and that is not a fact. It's not the, and as I said, I don't disagree with that letter. I do very strongly disagree with things going out as being from council, because everybody's gonna believe it's from council, when it hasn't come before council.
well, now we can say, just so everybody really understands, it has come before council, and you've got the majority here who
And I've
support it.
already supported it myself.
So,
Process. All she's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Anna about process, so, I think a little
Thank you.
heads up, would be nice. I don't think it violates the Open Public Meetings Act for you to send a letter as leadership. You didn't sign it, city council members, we agree to that. I don't mind that being given a heads up, which I think you gave a heads up to me after it was already sent out.
Yes, I gave a heads up to everybody to make sure they read it.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want you to be surprised if some member of the public
Was-
came and asked you a question.
And let me just to clarify, so that I understand it, was there an urgency, like prior to another study session or briefing, where you couldn't have given us a draft prior to sending it?
Yes,
Yeah, because you sent it out the day after our study session.
it was the planning commission that Monday, that meeting spurred all of this, and it was felt very strongly
So the
that
meeting
the
prior,
facts needed to be,
but the meeting was prior to our study session, right? So then you guys probably chatted and you're, oh, I get it.
it took a little bit of time.
I think, I
I
don't think.
think
that
I
this
was
is-
the only
here's
council
deal.
member
It
that
had
was
to-
watching.
Maybe you won't make it a habit, but this one was, there
Yeah.
was a sense of urgency in this
Yeah.
particular instance, right? I don't see this being a consistent abuse of power.
But I think they have some zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not,
Okay.
it's not like this happens. I don't know, it never happened.
I
Exactly.
think that what,
I'm here.
next time what you
Exactly.
need to do is get, some wax and one of those special seals. Have it hand delivered by horse and,
I do see on this point that
Yeah,
it was signed by you and
Yeah.
I, and putting it on the council webpage instead of just our own.
yeah.
I understand that.
yeah,
And
and it was taken off, and now it can be put back
I
on.
appreciate your,
Because we have,
yeah, I appreciate your
what
reason.
we
But we
should have
have to-
done that night
we have
is,
to bring it for a formal vote to do that, Denise. We can't put
That's
it
fine.
back.
So can we do that on the next week's meeting?
I don't know that we have to. Can we just leave it on your pages? I mean,
I'm fine with it just being on my page. Do you?
I don't know if
Denise,
anybody
do you-
else wants to speak to this. I don't know if they even care.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'll
I'm not
send
gonna put
Ann
it-
the official.
I would prefer for it not to be online. And it's not that I don't disagree with you.
Right.
So I think I'm having some, you know where I'm at with this. I have mixed feelings about it.
Right, but we've got a 5-2 vote here that just accepted that letter. That is now a council approved letter. But having it on the council, Michael said, does anybody have a problem with having it on the council webpage? And everybody said they were fine with it, except the two of you. So we've got
Okay.
a 5-2. Isn't that what happened?
I thought everybody said it was fine.
Yes.
Oh,
I said I
okay.
don't disagree with the letter. I would just not put it on my page. It doesn't, look, y'all can do what you can do. I just,
Why do we need a resolution to get it back on the webpage? I don't know. Kathy says so. Okay, yeah.
I have a good of the order.
What?
Vote on things in here is what
Oh.
I'm saying. So
Right.
if Jane wants to put it on the website and she's, as the council president, can act to do that. Because I think that's part of the role and directing staff.
Okay.
To manage the council's webpage, that you can. What I'm saying is it's not, you can't do both in here because it's not.
Right.
You know, you're not getting.
I would just
We've
prefer
taken
not, and
straw
I've given you
votes
my
in here
opinion.
plenty of times during study sessions.
It's up to you what you're gonna do, Jane. That's my preference is that y'all leave it like it is, but it's also like, I'm not gonna die on this hill. I have a really quick good of the order whenever it's time.
I just need to make a quick point. We just spent 5 minutes on that and we spent 45 on LTAC. You know, we've got the hesitancy that we have about talking about serious things, you know, at the end of the evening. But let's manage of course, we never know what's gonna get dropped at good of the order.
Maybe we should,
So-
maybe we should do it at the beginning.
Oh, God, no. Get all this up and leave. Okay,
Alrighty.
so Jennifer, what's your good of the order?
Y'all, I know we're in a little bit of a budget crisis, but I just want to put some feelers or plant a seed of some sort, but I mean, the mayor's office does this, but I wonder if there's some way for us to create a legacy of a scholarship for young folks going into the trades. And it doesn't even have to be a high school graduate, but I just want to put it out there that it might be an interesting idea, even if it's just a $500 scholarship that we do annually. We put it in as a legacy of this council. That it feels like that's sustainable funding. $500 it could be for tuition, tool reimbursement, et cetera, et cetera. Is there anybody that's interested or,
I want to make a comment.
yeah?
I was trying to find some places for council members to have public meetings. And so one of the people that I talked to said, you could just give us a donation of X dollars and you can use this room for a year. So I checked with Kylie and Kylie's like, no, we can't donate public funds like that. So
Is the scholarship the same?
that's what we need to find out from Kylie, because that was what she had told me about.
Well, and I'd be wondering why the
Donation.
trades and why not
Or is
public
it public
policy.
funds?
Yes.
So it's a city funds.
And I can answer how we do it. They have to show, there has to be consideration, some benefit to Bremerton. So like the mayor's award, Bremerton student brings something back. There's also, some of the other things we do where they're doing a project that benefits the city. So you just have to
So-
define that.
I feel like a city of Bremerton resident that wants to be in the trades, that is a young person, even it could be a single mom, it could be, you know, somebody who's trying to get it. Anyway, I just would like to plant the seed that maybe that's something fun that we could do. We do so many serious things. We talk about so many roads.
Yeah, but we're cutting. I mean, we're
Okay.
we're being told no new programs.
If it's okay,
I don't
Okay.
know.
The shipyard, like, will give you a bunch of that stuff.
I'm not talking about shipyard, the trades, and I mean,
Yeah, just building.
you know, and
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there are things that are barriers to young folks in our community joining the trades. There's not always scholarships for everything.
True.
And sometimes the scholarships are just for graduating high school seniors, you know, and we could naysay it. But we could
It's
also,
something that I think I want to think about
yeah,
for a while.
okay.
But thank you for planting this seed.
All right, I'm planting seeds. Do not be surprised if I come back to you in 3 months and say, how's everybody feeling about?
How's your seeds?
Yeah, how are you, are they growing? Have they
Are they
sprouted?
seeds? My corn is this high.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. That's it.
Just a really quick one. Yeah, I have had a couple of First Amendment things with the council leadership over the past several months. Is this something that we want to talk about here? Do we want to go into it, set up an executive session for that?
It's council rules versus First Amendment rights. So, we all agreed to not correspond directly with staff. And that's not always being followed. And so I don't see it as a First Amendment right, but
So
I'll defer to
I
the
think I
president.
see it differently. I see it as breaking quorum. If it's information that other council members may be interested in or want to know about. So that's why when we were discussing council rules this year, is we filter things through Anne so that if it's of interest, then she can put it on either our Teams page or send out an email to all of us. So I know you disagree with that, but we also had complaints from some of the directors about feeling that we were spending excessive time with staff members. And that
See, when Christie was talking about being able to spend hours with finance, I thought perhaps that case had been lifted.
well, that
In any
was
event-
I went
that was
through Ann.
In any event,
Ann set up a meeting for me.
there's nothing in our council rules and procedures that says the council vice president can jump into my email that I've CC'd you on out of respect, actual respect, not just fake respect, actual respect. for
I
your
jumped
experience.
in because you were
And
communicating
your
with
statement
staff.
was, I need to end this correspondence. Anybody at Public Works, I've said this many, many times, anybody anywhere on staff can and has simply stopped corresponding with me.
There's a power differential there, Anna.
What?
It's much harder for a staff member to refuse to interact with a city council member.
I know that's the theory.
We
This is-
agree to these council rules and policies, and if we don't agree with them and abide by them, then we shouldn't really have them. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I personally, if I need to get more information from a staff member, the only person I really call is Chance. Say, Chance, can you explain this to us? Or can this get put on the Public Works Committee? I don't talk to staff members unless, Chance told me,
This is
call this guy direct.
This was about an agenda item. Chance was CC'd on every single one
For which committee?
for Public Works.
I feel like this,
It was
okay.
about heat maps.
No, it was not
It
about.
was about the
heat
tip.
maps. It was about
Yeah,
tip, which is going to be in
eventually,
September.
Okay.
We're going to investigate the scoring. The data, the scoring rests on the data. I'm trying to understand the data. And Gunnar really helped me prepare for that. And I am grateful. If at any point Gunnar wants to stop corresponding with me, so be it. I've been ghosted by so many people at this city that I'm not, gonna get bent out of shape about
That
it.
should be an indication.
Yes, it should be an indication. And this is not, I don't want to continue this, actually. I think this is not the appropriate
That
place
was a
to do
nice
it.
snarky move.
Well, this is a consistent problem that we have all, it's a long-standing problem, and if you want to air it publicly, it's fine, but it's not the
Well,
first
I
time.
asked if we wanted to go into an executive session on this.
Okay, well, then you launched into it.
You brought it up publicly. We
Into
can't
executive
go.
session.
Yeah.
No, not now. I'm
No, I'm
asking if you
saying
want
like the.
It is
the reason for going into
ultimately-
executive session.
Ultimately,
to
it is,
discuss the behavior of a public employee.
If it's an employment thing, but.
you're not exactly the same, you're an elected official. So if you choose not to abide by the council rules and procedures, then, I mean, we can choose to censor, but that's like really extreme. I don't think anybody wants to do that. So, I mean, that's our options, y'all. I don't want to censor Anna, but I hope that she will get a clue. That is all. Thank you.
I will say that going through Anne has been incredibly positive for me because not only do I sometimes have a thought and a thought and a thought and a thought, and God bless her, she now understands this and is like compiling them.
Yep.
And then, you know, there are meetings that I don't know about that happen. And she actually tracks down the correct directors in those meetings and gives those questions to them so that we can get them at the right time because I can't be at all of these meetings. I can't
Right.
do all of these things. And then additionally, I have a question, here's this thing, and she'll send me something like, actually, that was actually asked. And if it doesn't meet the criteria for like really answering your question, let me know. But this was what we received from something else. And so I get significantly more information by going through Anne as one person because I get the questions and answers that you guys have received through that. It has been really beneficial. And you asked about the meeting that I had. That was because I had like 40 questions that were outstanding for Mike. And Anne said, it's probably best if you just have a meeting. And she scheduled a meeting in here. We got the room. I just got to show up at a certain time and get all of my questions answered. So that was helpful to me. But yeah, she set everything up with that. And I don't know that even talking to Mike about that, I would have had that idea of like, hey, would you mind if you came and we had these questions and I could ask you the embarrassing ones and things I should probably know.
Michael, did you want to say something?
Sure. I was gonna say, we're talking about this later, but I'm gonna say something now. So first of all, I feel like our access to the staff is at the grace of the mayor.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
because it could very easily be, everything had to go through his office,
Yeah.
then to a director, then to a staff person. And I can remember, even when I was council president, there was some issues with the amount of correspondence that was happening to
Same.
staff, and I was asked if I could help even kind of
Same.
rein it in. And so I don't know, I felt like my, I previously was always like, I would never talk to a staff. I mean, I would say hi or something, but I would never, if I had a question, I would go to the director. Or maybe if I was like, already maybe knew that like Garrett was the person, I might ask Garrett a question, and I'm gonna CC Andrea on there so that like it's completely above board. But almost always would go to the director.
And there wouldn't be like,
Unless the conversation, I don't
Yeah.
know, but it's a different branch of government. They're not, it's not our, I mean, we love to say they're our staff, and we love our staff and all that.
They're not our stuff.
There is, it's,
Anybody else?
for good of the order.
I have one,
Yeah.
but I like to like a little lighthearted. Now I feel uncomfortable being on like
do it.
the air
Go
show.
the light
The air show is this weekend. Is
Yeah.
anybody going? Because they were actually nice enough. They sent something to everybody about
Yeah.
the media day, which is the
Yeah.
day before.
Friday.
Yeah.
They were nice
For the
enough.
air show,
Yeah, the air
Bremerton
show.
Air.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's
So
fun.
it's Saturday and
Yeah.
Sunday for general public, and then on Friday. So I just wanted to make sure I sent Anne my RSVP that I'm going to be there, but I just for head count purposes.
What time is that again?
I will not.
Are you bringing your
Mhm.
kids?
I
will
am.
not.
So that was the other cool thing is I called and I'm like, hey.
Yeah,
do
they
you just
welcome.
Want me or can I make this?
They
something
welcome.
that
Are you going if you're
Make me feel bad.
Sort
Because
of.
it's a great
It is
photo op
important,
too.
so
They
for
said
them.
went last.
Bring 'em.
RSVP
Okay,
at 5.
Yeah.
I don't think I RSVP'd folks.
Crash the party.
Friday.
Let's go.
Did you just, so I don't know if Anne needs to do something if we have a head count that's greater than 3. So I just want to throw that out
I
there.
think I'm gonna go.
I'm not
It was
gonna be able
fun.
to go.
She'll tot it up. Like whoever's planning to go, anything like that, you just let her know and
Yeah, I did, but.
Okay.
Right here.
she'll
I
tot it.
might have said it, I can't.
I think it's still less than a quorum.
Okay.
Rick,
so
you're
we're
not going, right?
No, no, change of command.
And then
Oh, that's right.
also,
Okay.
just like historically, we've had more than 4 people. We used to go.
Yeah, you just don't
hail,
talk to each
And
other.
we'd get one table of 3 over there, and a table of 2 there.
We should do that.
So if I see you, I just hold
That's
it.
right.
Like I don't even.
You're talking about like
Me with-
like socializing afterwards, but not in.
Okay, is there anything else? All right, I adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.